Okay, we've got 14 so far. Let's see how quickly everybody else can join in. But we've got plenty of time, so all good. Nice to see. How many guys? Just one so far. Nice to see. Okay, we're on 17. 18. Okay. All right, I'm going to get started. If somebody else joins in, that's fine. They can just hook up. Oh, hang on. Here we go. One more. Great. Okay, so all 19 of you are here. Welcome. My name is Bev. I haven't met any of you before. I don't think I know any. I might know. No, I don't know. I haven't met any of you before. So welcome to this morning. And this module is everything about vinyasa yoga. So the whole point of this is that Catherine wants you to have an idea of what it's like, what kind of a sequence you would possibly be exposed to if you went and practiced at one of the studios in Cape Town or wherever you went and did a vinyasa class. It's an opportunity for you to maybe just learn about, well, definitely learn about where it comes from, a little bit more in depth about what is expected when you teach at studios, and maybe an opportunity for you guys to decide whether it is something that you may or may not want to go and teach once you have finished your teacher training. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm actually a pharmacist. My grand taught yoga until she was well over 80. So as a child, I did yoga with her in her classes, which was amazing. And then I was in and out of yoga through the teenage years. I've got married, I've got 2 kids. And about 5 years ago, I decided to get back into it properly and seriously. So I quit pharmacy. I don't work as a pharmacist anymore. I did my 200-hour teacher training with Yo Yoga, which was in Claremont at the time. I did my advanced teacher training with Catherine, and I've done my yin teacher training with Carla, who I'm sure you, if you haven't met her, you will be meeting her somewhere along the line. So after completing my 200-hour teacher training, I started teaching almost straight away, which was quite a good thing and something that I would suggest that you think about doing so you don't lose all your knowledge, your confidence, and everything else that you may have. So I would suggest, if you can, if you decide that you want to teach once you finish the course, then try and get into teaching, even if it's just teaching friends or family or hiring a little space and teaching people. My advice to you is to get teaching sort of as quickly as you can, so that you don't lose everything that you've gained from doing this 200-hour with Catherine. You guys are very lucky to be with Catherine. She is amazing. She has a huge wealth of knowledge and stuff that you learn from her you possibly won't learn anywhere else. So it's really, really fantastic that you've chosen her course, and I really believe that it's a good way to go. So that is just a little bit of information about me. This session this morning as well is going to be covering everything about vinyasa, or as many things as I can possibly think of. I also try and give you some life experiences, some of the funny things that I've experienced teaching. And please feel free to ask questions. Okay, that's what I'm here for. You need to pick my brain, ask me anything that you want to know. And I honestly don't mind. So you just, there's a little sign that you can click on the bottom. I'm sure you know, if you want to ask a question. And yeah, let's just see how we go. So please, if you have any questions, don't be scared to ask. I'm here for that exact reason, and I will try and give you as much information as I can, so that you have a well-rounded idea of everything about vinyasa, so that you can complete this course having a bit of information about as many different types of yoga as possible. So what we're going to do is, I've got a little PowerPoint presentation which we will run through. Then we're going to stop before we go into more depth, and I'm going to teach you a vinyasa class. It's one of the sequences that I've taught at one of the studios. So it's not something that I've chosen uniquely for you guys. I want you to experience something that you would possibly experience if you went to a studio. I think I can see all of you on screen. Can you guys just give me an indication how many of you know or practice vinyasa yoga? Okay, awesome. Okay, good. Okay, and how many of you practice power yoga? Okay. Is it Stefan? Stefan? So Stefan and nobody else. Okay. All right. Okay, so we're going to delve into a little bit of each, explain the differences, and we'll get started with our PowerPoint. Okay, I'm just going to get it onto the screen for you guys. Hang on a second. I've got to remember how to do this now. Sorry. Hang on a sec. Share screen. PowerPoint. Okay, we're getting there. Let me find it. Should be open already. Why is it not open? Okay, and then I want to go to slideshow, and where does it say start from the beginning? Start. Okay, all right, I presume that all of you can see that. Okay, all right, just let me know if you can't. Okay, so vinyasa comes from the Sanskrit word nyasa, which means to place, and v, which means in a special way. So when you attend a vinyasa practice or vinyasa class, the poses and the sequences are put together, hopefully, by an intelligent sequencing teacher in such a way that everything makes sense. In other words, you start off warming up the body slowly, and then you generally start to take the poses a little bit deeper so that the body is well prepared for whatever is coming next. Okay. The history of vinyasa yoga, you can just have a look at that screen and just read about how it was discovered. Just have a quick read. I'm just going to let you guys read that. Okay, so the person that eventually ended up with the knowledge that originated from that ancient text, the Yoga Kuranta, was Pattabhi Jois. I don't know if any of you know Pattabhi Jois, but he is the guru who started Ashtanga Mysore Yoga. And Ashtanga Yoga is the basis of Vinyasa Yoga. So a lot of the sequences, a lot of the poses originate from Ashtanga Yoga, which was developed by Pattabhi Jois. Don't know if any of you practice Ashtanga Yoga, but if you do, we'll talk about that in a little bit more detail later on as well. Okay. All right, so let's move on to the next one. See now what's going on. Okay, so this is Ashtanga. Ashtanga is a very disciplined practice, and the correct way, or the way that it was originally taught, is in a style called Mysore. Mysore is a place in India where Pattabhi Jois taught Ashtanga Yoga, and it means that you practice on your own. In other words, you don't have a teacher leading a class. You practice the sequence on your own. You have a yoga instructor in the room that can adjust you and help you, but it's not a led class. So you arrive, it's normally practiced early in the morning. Some people start at 4 o'clock in the morning. You arrive at whichever studio is offering Mysore. The only one that I know of at the moment in Cape Town is Yoga Zone. I stand to be corrected, but I don't know if anybody else is offering that. And so you arrive on your mat and you do your own sequence, which means you need to know the sequence. And the interesting thing about Ashtanga and Mysore, if it's practiced correctly, is that you are not allowed to move on to another posture or another pose until you have mastered the previous one. I don't know if any of you know that about Ashtanga. Okay, talking about Ashtanga in a class that is not led by a teacher. If you go to a class, an Ashtanga-led class, that's different. You can pitch up and you can do whatever it is that you want to do. Okay. You don't have to stop and work into the pose. Then you are obviously allowed to move on through the poses. But if you're practicing typical Ashtanga, you are not allowed to move on to a pose unless the teacher or the guru or whoever is guiding you says that you are ready for that. Okay. Sorry, I just need to admit somebody else here. All right, so Ashtanga is very disciplined, and there are a number of series, in other words, a number of sequences. There's a primary series, there's a secondary series, and I think there are about 4 or 5 advanced levels. Most people in their lifetime will only master the primary series. Think about that. Most people in their lifetime will only master the primary series. So that gives you an idea of how disciplined and how challenging the series is. Okay, it's not an easy type of yoga, and that's why it takes time to open up the body and the joints, and that's why you're actually not supposed to move on until you have mastered the poses. Okay. Right, let me just see what this is to take you guys off the screen. Okay, this is all still part of the Ashtanga primary series. Okay, so it starts, oopsie, sorry, starts there and it doesn't end there, it carries on. Okay, so the normal Ashtanga takes about an hour and a half or 2 hours to complete. Okay. So essentially, vinyasa is progressive sequences, and you want them to be put together and to unfold with harmony and intelligence. In other words, you don't want somebody to arrive in the practice and your first pose is Bakasana or crow. Okay, because the body is not prepared for it. You have a good chance of causing injury. So the idea is to warm up the body slowly, prepare the body for bigger poses or deeper poses that occur further on in the sequence. Right, so poses are not generally held in a vinyasa class. The vinyasa tends to be sort of one breath, one movement. Okay. Some of the poses are held, balancing poses are held because it's quite tricky and challenging to balance, especially on one leg. And if you are holding the pose, you're still breathing, and the breathing that is practiced is pranayama breathing. Not pranayama. The pranayama that is practiced is ujjayi breath. Okay, your victorious breath, which I'm sure you will have learnt about. If you haven't, you will. Every single class that you go to offers a different sequence, but you will find sun salutation A and sun B often used, and that is very much part of coming from the Ashtanga practice. There's a lot of that sun salutations A and B in the Ashtanga practice. And I've already said it's sequence to move from simpler to more advanced asanas. And because there's so much freedom in movement, and because it's so dynamic and anybody can join a vinyasa class, it is one of the most popular and most attractive forms of yoga today. So there are lots and lots and lots of people who love vinyasa yoga and practice it. So it's quite a popular form of yoga. The difference between Ashtanga and vinyasa. So Ashtanga is a set sequence. There's primary, intermediate, and 4 advanced series. Vinyasa, depending on what the teacher you have, every single teacher teaches a different sequence. So each time you go to a class, you're going to be taught a different sequence. In Ashtanga, you get into a pose and you hold it for 5 breaths. Each and every pose is held for 5 breaths. In a vinyasa class, as I've mentioned, we may hold balancing poses, or we may hold some poses for a short period of time, but it's mainly 1 breath, 1 movement. So it's much more dynamic. It's much quicker. I've told you that a person cannot move on to a pose until that pose or the sequence has been mastered in Ashtanga. As you know, if you practice vinyasa, anybody can pitch up. A beginner can pitch up to your class, and there are no rules. They just join in, they do what they can, and there are no restrictions as to whether they can practice a certain pose or not. In Ashtanga, there's no peak pose. The primary series is based on forward folds and back bends. So, and sometimes in vinyasa, you will have a peak pose as a goal of the vinyasa class. So you will be sequencing to a peak pose, but in Ashtanga, there is no peak pose. Okay, so in Ashtanga and Vinyasa classes, you will hear a teacher telling you to take your Vinyasa back to downward facing dog. It's like a little reset between both sides of the body. So normally you do a sequence on the right-hand side of the body. Then you move through that little Vinyasa, which I'll explain now, and then you do the same sequence on the left-hand side. So the little Vinyasa is a little reset, but for the spine, for the body, before you move and change and do the same sequence on the other side. So the vinyasa typically, as I've said, is a type of yoga, but it's also used to explain a 3-pose transition, which is these 3 poses: your chaturanga, your upward facing dog, and your downward facing dog. So those 3 poses or postures put together, flowing one after the other, is called a vinyasa. So if you're doing a sun A, the teacher will cue you, take your vinyasa back to downward facing dog. That means you move through your forward fold, halfway lift, your chaturanga, your upward facing dog, and your downward facing dog. So if you go into a vinyasa class and you hear the teacher cueing that, it means that you take your sun salutation flow or sun B flow back to downward facing dog. And those 3 poses are typically together called a vinyasa. Okay. There are a lot of different types of vinyasa out there, and these have all been brand named, and they are found in all parts of the world. And some people tend to stick to and follow a specific kind of yoga because they know what they're going to get, whether they practice it in London or America or wherever they are. They know what they're going to get. So you generally find that people will stick to one form of vinyasa that they are familiar with. Jiva Mukti Yoga is very fast-paced. It was developed by David Life and Sharon Gannon in 1984, so it's quite a new sort of branded practice. Each class is themed, and they also explore a lot of chanting, a lot of scripture, meditation, asanas, pranayama, and music. The Jiva Mukti philosophy is very strictly based on the interpretation of the Yama Ahimsa, which you will learn about, which means non-violence. So the practitioners and the teachers advocate a sort of vegetarian diet, vegan diet. We don't, because Ahimsa, non-violence, means that you don't kill or cause any harm to any animals either. And this type of vinyasa yoga, interestingly enough, is what a lot of the celebrities tend to gravitate towards, like Sting and Madonna, and possibly a few others. I can't remember the name of the lady I was going to mention, but that is quite a popular form of yoga, and so they will follow a vegan diet as well. Okay, when you practice vinyasa yoga in the studios in Cape Town, you are not told what to eat or not to eat. But if you can practice Jiva Mukti Vinyasa, it is recommended or advocated that you follow a vegan diet. Okay. There's also Core Power Yoga, which was founded in 2002, which is even newer. It consists of 3 levels of classes. Level 1 classes are unheated, and level 2 and 3 are heated. And some classes use weights to build strength. There are no weights generally used in a yoga class, as you know, but there is a form of yoga called sculpt yoga, which is offered at some of the studios. I teach that at Yoga Spirit, and it's also taught at Yoga Life. And that uses weights to build strength. So you use weights incorporated into the yoga class, which is not typically traditional yoga at all. But it is an interesting way of building strength. So I wouldn't say that it's a bad thing, but it is something that I would suggest you try for yourself and decide whether you want to practice that or not. Okay. Moda Yoga is just a different brand name. And they offer, when I say Bikram, I actually want to change that to Hot 26 because we're not allowed to say Bikram anymore. Hot 26, and the classes are all heated to 38 degrees. So it's heated vinyasa yoga. And so wherever you go in the world, if you want to practice a Moda yoga class, you will know that you can expect a heated class, and you can choose between Hot 26 or you can choose between the Modo vinyasa flow. Okay, so I'm just going to talk about power yoga just compared to vinyasa yoga. Just one or two little things, and then we will have a break for 5 minutes, and then we'll get on to our class. So the difference between normal vinyasa classes and power yoga classes is that power yoga is definitely done in a heated room. Normally I've put here between 34 to 36 degrees, but in actual fact at Yoga Zone and Yoga Spirit, we put the temperature up to about 37, sometimes even a little bit higher. But we do have an opportunity to let some fresh air into the room with a little system, so that you don't fry everybody and kill them at 37 degrees in a vinyasa class, because that's not what you want. Power yoga is faster than vinyasa yoga. It's more energetic. You move relatively quickly from one pose to the next, and there's a lot less holding of poses than other types of yoga. Power yoga did get a bit of a bad reputation over the last couple of years, because some people feel that you move through the postures too quickly, and so that's disadvantageous for two reasons. The first reason is that you don't get to feel the posture properly. And the second thing is, if you're moving too quickly between postures, you have a good chance of injuring yourself. So I've noticed that over the last couple of years, I'll probably say only over the last year and a half, a lot of the power yoga classes have actually been slowed down at a lot of the studios, which is good, because then you have less chance of injuring yourself, and you don't want to injure yourself in yoga, as you know, because that will set you back and you probably won't be able to practice for a while, which is not great. So this is interesting. Power yoga was first developed by a guy called Larry Schultz, and he studied Ashtanga yoga under Patabi Joyce. And he did not like the idea that you had to master a pose or master a sequence before you were allowed to move on. So he developed his own style of power yoga called rocket yoga, where he took poses from the Ashtanga series, all of the Ashtanga series, or quite a few of them, and sequenced them around the joints. In other words, you would do a power yoga that was sequenced around hip joints or shoulder joints or whatever. Okay. As you can imagine, the Ashtangis were not very happy with him, because that went against the whole philosophy that they were focusing on, which is the fact that you cannot move onto a posture until you've mastered the previous posture or pose. So you can imagine the Ashtangis were not very, very happy with him. They were actually very upset with him. But he was the first person that took that Ashtanga yoga and thought, okay, I'm going to change it to something else, and I'm not going to put any restrictions on anybody, and anybody can come and join. This is a Rocket Yoga Advanced series, and if you can see, just notice what your almost your third pose is. You're in crow. And if you have a look, there's a lot of very advanced poses in there. You've got half moon, you've got scorpion, Pincha Mayurasana, you have got variations of headstands, handstands. So it's quite an advanced, okay, this is the advanced series, but to me it looks like it's quite an advanced style of yoga to practice. I've never practiced it myself. I don't even know if it's available anymore. Actually, I'll have to go and find out. But it is quite an advanced type of yoga. So you can imagine quite strong. And he was the first person to develop this own series for himself and for his students. Okay, also at around the same time, there was a lady called Beryl Bender Birch who released a type of yoga which she called the Power Yoga, the Total Strength and Flexibility Workouts. And that was a book that had power yoga poses in it. And so that was just another way of getting power yoga out to people who maybe didn't practice it at the studios. Brian Kest released a series of videos through Warner Brothers. So also a different way of getting power yoga to people who didn't practice in studios. You have a very famous teacher called Baron Baptista, who launched his own brand of power yoga in Australia. I don't know if anybody knows Baron Baptista, But if you haven't seen his teaching, or if you haven't practiced any of his classes online or on YouTube, then go and have a look at how he teaches. I think he is amazing. He's got a very calm manner, and I like his classes. So go and have a look. You need to just get some of your own knowledge here, as well as to which teachers you like and which teachers you don't. Okay. So I just want to see here. Baptista was a spark. Ah, okay, there we go. So Stefan, yep, he's amazing. I think he's amazing. Yes, he's brilliant. And his what are you going to say?
No, like I should say that like I've never actually done any of these classes.
Okay.
Like when I started, I was looking just for alternative ways to work out because I couldn't actually go to the gym. So
Okay.
I looked at the body weight and I thought, cool, let's try yoga. And I saw John Baptiste, and he's a big guy doing yoga. So I just downloaded a PDF of his routine, the power yoga routine. And
Yes.
like I just started that. And then every day it was just doing that routine over and over, and like for about 2-3 weeks. And then after that, that's when everything sort of became cool, yoga, let's go.
That's fantastic. That's great. I love stories like that. That's amazing. Yeah. So
But so I do kind of advocate the whole power yoga and not the Ashtanga sequence.
okay.
Like just simply because getting people to do the movements and realizing how physical it is kind of does inspire them to go, okay, I can go through the sequence, but now I want to learn how to do the sequence properly. And then because that then led me on to Ashtanga. So if you don't really have the power yoga side and you just want to do it for the workout, for the muscular side of it in the beginning, that does or can more towards the end does lead on to the more traditional forms of yoga.
So do you practice Ashtanga yoga at the moment?
No, the Ashtanga yoga was actually during lockdown. So the first 2 weeks, I did the primary series, full 2 hours every day, every morning. And then.
Okay. So you've had experience with Baron, and that's what sparked your practice. That's amazing. I really think you guys need to just go. He's got so many videos on YouTube. Just go and have a look at his teaching. He is I just think he's really good. So power yoga is very, very popular in the United States and Europe and Asia, and we're always a little bit behind the times, but we're getting there because, as I said, a lot of people practice power yoga here as well. And I must say, you either love it or you hate it, because it is in a heated class. It is often quite a challenging sequence. And so, as I said, you either hate it or you love it. If you haven't tried it, give it a go. Okay, let's just see what comes next here. Okay, so power yoga typically, and I say typically because it's not the same at all studios, and we'll talk about that later as well. It attracts students who maybe don't want to have chanting, they don't want to have scriptures, they don't want to really have too much meditation, and they don't want to have Sanskrit. They prefer to have the English names because it just makes it clearer for them. So they are typically those students that are mainly looking for possibly more of a physical workout. Okay, as I said, that doesn't happen at all the studios. Each studio has its own formula, and that is something else that you will learn as you go along if you're going to teach. Each studio has its own formula of how the studio owner wants the classes to be taught, and you, if you are going to go and teach at that studio, have to follow that formula. So that is also a little bit of a test to yourself to go and practice at studios before you actually start teaching there, if you can, to see whether the formula actually sits well with you or not. Okay. There in the power yoga classes, there's very little attention to alignment. Some of the alignment cues are mentioned, but you're moving so quickly that you haven't got time to verbally cue too often to get people into alignment, which is why it was given a bad rap and thought to be quite injurious. There's lots of standing balancing poses, because balancing on one leg is always challenging for people. I'm sure if you practice yoga, you know that balancing on one leg is difficult. But as I said, after many years of instructing, power yoga teachers are now encouraging a more well-rounded practice and starting to slow the movements down a little bit so that it doesn't cause injury, and it gives you a chance to explore the poses a little bit deeper, which is what you should be doing really in a yoga class. But it is quite a good workout. A lot of the studios throw in quite a bit of core work as well, so you do feel like you've done a hard practice if you've done a power yoga class. Right, there is Baron Batista, and his parents were both yoga teachers, and they opened their yoga schools in San Francisco. His brand of power yoga is known as BPV, which is Baptista Power Vinyasa, and his classes are heated to 32 to 36 degrees. He's very popular, well-followed teacher around the world. And yep, so he teaches a lot of power yoga classes. And I believe, according to a book I read on him, the move Flip Your Dog, where you go into a back bend from a three-legged dog, was developed and by him. So that's his little trademark in a way. Okay, this is, Stefan, this may be what you were talking about when you said you practiced his sequence. This
Yeah,
is, yeah,
that's
okay.
it. Yeah.
Is this the exact same one that you did?
Yep.
Okay, so there we go. This is typically his sequence from start to finish. And there's a lot going on, but he starts, as a lot of yoga classes do, with Sun A's, then goes into Sun B's, and then develops a whole sequence with a lot of different things. So you get a really well-rounded practice. There's standing balances, there's twists, there's forward folds, there's back bends, there's variations of headstand if you want. There's all sorts of things. So you do get a really well-rounded practice. He doesn't teach this same sequence all the time, but this was his trademark power yoga sequence that he developed. Okay, so generally, if you went to one of his classes and it was this actual power yoga sequence, this is the sequence that you would do. So it basically covers, I would say, nearly everything. There's a lot in that sequence, but very strength building. I wouldn't say it's a bad thing to do. I would say it's quite interesting. I wouldn't mind trying all those standing balances on one leg all in one row and see how far we can go. So yeah, go and have a look at him on YouTube. He's really great. Okay, this is basically just naming the poses that he teaches. This is slightly different to the previous one in that there is some abdominal stuff in there as well. Scissor legs and abdominal twist and boat pose. But he generally starts, as I said, with Sun A, Sun B's, and then develops the sequence from there. Okay. So how do different studios present power yoga? Because each studio, as I've told you, has a different formula. So generally it is fast-paced movement. It's definitely based on vinyasa flows, obviously, which comes from Ashtanga. It's definitely heated. And some of the studios, and I'll mention Yoga Life specifically because I know that this is what they do, they definitely throw in a lot of core. So you'll spend at least 10 minutes at the end of the practice on your back doing bicycle cycles through the legs or whatever different core exercises that they're going to offer in the class. So they do that is like their little trademark. At Yoga Spirit and Yoga Zone, we don't generally do that. The core exercises that we do are based on yoga poses. So it would be things like Navasana, boat pose, crunches, knee to nose, that kind of thing that works into the abdominals rather than lying on your back and doing push-ups, sit-ups and bicycles, kicks and all that kind of thing. Okay, so we tend to keep it more yoga based. Not all the time. Sometimes I might just bring in something a bit different, but mostly it's based on yoga poses and not just lying on the floor like you would do at a gym and doing a lot of core stuff. But having said that, people love that. Love it because it makes you feel like you've really worked hard. Okay, I'm not going to go into the common vinyasa poses now. We will do that once we have done, once we have done our class. So I just want to stop the share here. Okay. Before we do the class, does anybody have any questions so far about anything that they want to ask about vinyasa yoga or power yoga? You guys are very quiet. The previous students had a whole lot of questions, but that's okay. I'm sure along the way you will think of things to ask. And just remember, just ask me anything. Okay. All right. So let's have a break for, I want to start at 1:15 so that I can time myself so I know that I'm teaching you for exactly an hour. So let's have a break until then. And 1:15, we're going to be on our mats and we're going to be ready to do the sequence. Okay. So have a break for a few minutes and then we'll get going. Why is it saying that now? What is it doing? Okay. Oops. I don't know what it's done now. Exit full screen. Okay. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything I can tell you while we're waiting to do the practice. No, I think I'll go into some personal stories and things like that towards the end and tell you some of the things that go on that will also maybe just enlighten you before you actually start teaching. Just as a matter of interest, I know that not everybody does a teacher training course because they want to teach. I know that some people just do it to further their own practice. So how many of you actually are thinking of teaching, or haven't you guys decided yet? Just stick your hand up if you're thinking of teaching. I see most of the videos are off now. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. Yes, Judy. Okay, good. So quite a few of you. That's good. Okay, awesome. All right, well, by the time you finish Catherine's course, you'll have a very good idea of what's out there and you can choose and pick what you would like to do. I am just going to give you some advice about getting into teaching at yoga studios. And this is something that I mentioned when we do the Hot 26, which we'll be doing next week, where we do the sequence. And it's a similar kind of thing. We go into the history of it. We do the sequence so you can get a feel for it and you can decide whether you want to teach it or not. There are so many vinyasa teachers around. They really are. They're a dime a dozen, and they all looking for jobs at studios and things like that. So the way that I got into teaching was not through teaching vinyasa. It was through teaching Hot 26. And I'll tell you why. There's a very big shortage of Hot 26 teachers in Cape Town, because most of the studios offer Hot 26 classes at exactly the same time during the week. So Tuesday, 6 o'clock. Most of the studios are having Hot 26. So if your teacher is sick or can't teach and you're now looking for a cover, it's difficult to find because they're all teaching at the same time. So I didn't get into teaching by teaching vinyasa. I did a Hot 26 course and I got into teaching by teaching Hot 26. I was literally phoned by Yoga Spirit and said, we're desperate. I'd never met Kate in my life before. We're desperate. We need somebody that can come and teach Hot 26 in half an hour. Can you be here? And I said, absolutely. Went and taught, and the class went so well that I was put onto the schedule permanently after that. And what I did then was, after having taught Hot 26 for about 6 months, and I did this at Yoga Zone as well, I went to the yoga studio owners and I said to them, I'm not going to teach Hot 26 unless you offer me a vinyasa slot as well. So that's how I got into doing both. Just a little tip, because it's really difficult to walk into a studio and go, I teach vinyasa, I'd like a job. They're going to go, well, so do 50,000 other teachers in Cape Town. So I'm not saying that you can't get a job teaching vinyasa, but it is tricky. Having said that, there are lots of opportunities. You don't only need to teach at studios. You can teach outdoor yoga. You can teach in, you can hire church halls and have your own space to teach there. You can teach friends and family. There's just a whole host of stuff that you can do, and lots and lots of opportunities. I really believe in abundance out there, and I believe in abundance of teachers, and I believe that there is an abundance of students, enough for all of us to actually get out there, and if you're wanting to teach, to be able to teach. And I think you have to believe in that, because otherwise, we're all going to be sitting thinking we don't have jobs. Okay. Little tip as well, you don't get paid a fortune as a yoga teacher. So Some of you may want to have something else that you're doing on the side as well. But yeah, you get paid. You start off, if you're a new teacher, on a lower salary than everybody else, obviously. And the longer you stay there and the more your classes develop, then they will put you up to a higher salary. Okay, but you don't earn a fortune, so don't expect to shoot the lights out. The way that you do earn money is by possibly running teacher training courses or getting involved in teacher training, and that's something that I do as well. Okay, like this. Okay, all right. I'll keep quiet for 3 minutes and you can get yourselves onto your mat. If you want to leave your videos on, it's quite nice while you practice. But if you want to switch them off, you can. But it's quite nice for me to see you guys. And it's up to you. Entirely up to you. Some of you may not have great Wi-Fi or may have a problem getting signal all the time. So if you want to turn your videos off, you can. Okay, let me just get back to this now. There we go.
I have a quick question before we start our practice.
Yes, sure.
Now that you're about teaching, and the practicalities of it, how do yoga teachers get paid? Do they get paid per class, per hour? Like, is there a hierarchy of like beginner teachers, rates versus more experienced?
Very good question. You get paid per hour. So or per if you get 300 Rand for an hour class, you would get a bit more for an hour and a half class. And there is, at most of the studios, there is definitely a bit of a hierarchy. The more experienced and more advanced teachers often get a higher salary, and the newer teachers often start off on a lower base salary. So yeah, it's just one of those things. You've got to start teaching and build up your own following, and once you become more experienced and your classes are popular enough, you will hopefully move to a higher tier of remuneration for your classes. So yes, it's definitely based on that. One of the studios in Cape Town also offers incentives, which is interesting because that is based on how many people arrive in your class. So if you get, for example, if you get 20 people, you get paid your normal hourly rate, but then you get paid an extra 20 Rand. If you get 30 people, you get paid an extra 30 Rand, and so on and so forth. If you get 40 people, you get paid an extra 40 Rand, for example. So that incentive-based way of doing it is quite interesting, because you know that you have to keep delivering good classes if you want those incentives, because if your numbers drop off, you're not going to get those. You're not going to get that extra money. So some of the studios, well, I know one that does. I don't know some of the others. A lot of the others don't, but one of the studios offers incentive-based classes, which is quite interesting, because you're always trying to get more people to come, do your classes, so you can get a little bit of extra money. Okay. Anybody else want to ask anything?
Interesting. Thanks.
Pleasure. Okay. Great. Let's get started. I'm just going to take it. Actually, I'm going to leave it on there. I don't need to see myself at all. All right. Okay, so I just want to make sure that you can actually see my mat. Sorry, just give me a second. Yes, you can. Okay. Okay, so we're going to get started in a seated meditation. Just sitting comfortably on the sitting bones, and you can cross whichever leg is more comfortable in front. You can take an ankle to ankle alignment with the feet if you like. I'll show you from the front. If half lotus, half padmasana is in your practice, or full lotus, and that feels comfortable for you, you can take that. You can obviously also take a kneeling seat, but we're going to be here for a few moments, so just choose something that is really comfortable for you. And when you have your seat, sit up nice and tall. Feel like you leaning slightly back so that you stack your shoulders over your hips. And then relax your hands on your knees or your thighs, or you can also interlace them in your lap. And then let's close our eyes. And I'll start to draw your energy and your gaze and your focus inwards, and Start to become more aware of breathing. A little bit deeper, a bit more fuller. So slowly expanding into the chest, expanding into the lungs, and making more space for more breath. See if you can use your inhalations to create length through the back of the body. So sit up nice and tall. Reach up and out through the crown of the head. And then use your exhalations to relax your shoulders, relax the arms and fingers. And also just give yourself time to let your thoughts become quiet and the mind to become clear. Start to find a nice rhythm, pattern to that breath. Something that you can use to regulate your practice for yourself today. If you have any injuries or you're working with any restrictions in your body, then please modify the practice to suit yourself and move and breathe in a way that feels good for you. Okay, keeping the breath moving, keeping the eyes closed. Gently lift your arms up alongside your ears. Big stretch into both sides of your waist. Feel the palms of your hands connect above your head. And then draw that prayer down to your heart space. Bow your chin down towards your fingertips. Keep your eyes closed. And just set an intention for yourself, for your practice, or send love and healing to somebody else who needs it. Good. Blink your eyes open, roll over your shins, and make your way into a 4-point kneeling into your tabletop. Find a stacking of the joints here. Place your hands directly underneath your armpits. And then just separate your knees. Make sure that they are directly underneath your hips. Find a nice neutral spine here, so don't hang the head. Lift the back of the skull up. And power down through the arms and spread your fingers. All right, and then inhale to a cow pose. Drop the belly down. It's a little arch into the back. And you lift your chin, lift your tailbone. Then exhale to your cat. Round through the back, broaden through the shoulders. Tuck your chin, tuck your tail. Inhale to your cow pose. Heavy belly. Pull the shoulders back away from your ears. Exhale at your cat. Round to the upper back. Tuck chin, tuck your tailbone. We'll take 2 more rounds. Inhale, belly down. Exhale, pull belly button close to spine. Spread around the back of the heart space. One more time. Inhale to your cow pose. Exhale as your cat. Round to the upper back. Tuck the chin right in. Good. Find a neutral spine now as you inhale. Then we come into puppy pose as you exhale. So walk your hands or slide your hands forward. Take them slightly wider than your shoulders. Keep your hips over your knees. Then ski slope your chest down towards the mat. And you can land your forehead to the floor. Or if you want more of an opening up into the shoulders, then you can tuck your chin onto the mat. Try and straighten your arms a little more. And then breathe into sensations wherever you feel it. So possibly into the arms, around the back of the shoulders. Nice stretch for the front of the chest here as well. All right, then lift your gaze and slowly slide your hands back underneath you and hands to the floor for a moment. And we'll change it up here. Lower your forearms down to the mat. Tuck your elbows underneath your shoulders. And we'll take those cat and cow movements, but this will help you to get into the shoulders a little bit more. So as you breathe in, heavy the belly down. It's a little bit more subtle. Lift the chin. Then exhale, round into the spine and get into the shoulders. Push into your forearms and lift your head away from the mat. And again, inhale, belly down, pull your heart forward. Exhale, round to the upper back and feel the spreading around the back of the heart space, and you should feel this in your shoulders. One more time, inhale to look forward, little lift of your chin. And then exhale, round to the upper back, push into the forearms, make space for your head. Inhale to find just a neutral spine, and then place your hands back underneath your shoulders, come back into your tabletop as you exhale. Tuck the toes behind you, take an inhale. Pop your knees just off the mat as you exhale, and you're going to hold this and breathe. Keep powering down through the hands and the arms. Have a slight rounding of your shoulder blades up towards the sky. Draw the belly in. Stay high up on the toes. Don't forget to breathe. Calm breaths in and out of your nose. Good. Listen carefully. Keep your knees off the floor. Stay low. As you inhale, just send your bum back towards your heels, like a little crotch. Then for a forward fold, on your exhale, step your feet behind your hands into your Uttanasana. So check that your feet are hip width distance apart. And then hang heavy over your thighs and bend the knees quite a lot here. The arms are heavy, the head is heavy, and the neck is super soft and relaxed. You can take ragdoll if you like. You can hold opposite elbows and gently sway from side to side. Or you can take any other variation of your arms that you like. Get into the shoulders a bit more, whatever feels good for you here. Good. All right, fingertips to the mat in front of you. It's a halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen your spine. And a forward fold. Exhale to soften the back of your neck. Halfway lift again. Breathe in, shoulders away from ears. Forward fold. Exhale. Halfway lift. Inhale. Draw the belly in. Forward fold. Exhale. Bend the knees, tuck your chin. Slowly unfurl your spine to standing. Like you're untucking one vertebra at a time. Let the head come up last. And as you breathe in, lift your shoulders up towards your ears. And exhale to shrug them back and down. And again, inhale, shoulders up. And exhale, shrug them down your back. Nice. Bring that prayer in your hands, Anjali Mudra, to your heart space. And then step your feet together so you're in Samasthiti. Big toes touch. Have a little gap between your heels. Stand up nice and tall. Relax your shoulders. Good. And then we move. It's a high mountain. Inhale to scoop your arms up in line with your ears. And a forward fold. Exhale to hinge from the hips. Relax your neck. Halfway lift as you inhale. Lengthen your spine. And a forward fold. Exhale. Bend the knees if you need to. Rise up. Inhale at your high mountain. Lift the ribs. Hands to pray at your heart. Exhale to Samasthiti. Again, inhale at your high mountain. Forward fold. Exhale, soften the back of your neck. Halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen. Forward fold. Exhale. Rise to stand. Inhale at your high mountain. Hands to pray at your heart. Samasthiti. Empty your lungs. Inhale at your high mountain. Scoop the arms up again. And a forward fold. Exhale to hinge. Fingertips in line with your toes. Halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen. And downward facing dog as you exhale. Step back into your first downward facing dog. And you can warm the shape up a little bit by pedaling out through the feet, bending the knees one at a time, and flattening the opposite heel down towards the mat. So just getting a stretch into the back of the legs. Good. Nice. Beautiful, guys. Good. And then when you're ready, you hold that downward facing dog in stillness. Sitting bones up towards the sky. Nice long spine. Good. Nice, guys. Beautiful down dogs. Relax your head completely between your arms. Spread your fingers wide. You really want to feel like you're powering down through the hands And then lift your shoulders away from the mat. So have a sense of lightness here, like you are ready to move. Good. As you inhale, lift both of your heels up nice and high, and your legs are straight. Exhale to push your heels back down to the mat. Again, inhale, heels up high, get into the toes. Exhale, push your heels back down. Inhale one more time, high up onto your toes. Exhale back to your downward facing dog. Now shift forward to a high plank on your next inhale. And as you do that, check that your shoulders are over your wrists. If you need to adjust, then adjust. Make sure your alignment is correct. We're going to hold this high plank for a few breaths. If it gets too much for your shoulders, you're welcome to drop your knees to the mat. Good. Spread your fingers. Good. And you want to power up through the arms. Nice, guys. Oh, beautiful high planks. Beautiful. Keep the back of your skull lifted so that you're not hanging into the shoulders, and round the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. Very nice. As you inhale, shift your body weight slightly forward, and then lower all the way down onto your tummy as you exhale. Nice and slow. Don't drop your head. Everything to the mat. Good. Untuck your toes, hands underneath your shoulders. 3 rounds of rolling cobra. Breathe into your bhujangasana. Lift your chest off the mat. Tuck the elbows in towards your ribs. And exhale, take your chest and tummy back down to the floor. And again, inhale to lift up. Feel the tops of your feet press down, active in your legs. Exhale to soften and lower. And again, inhale, lift into your cobra pose. Hands light. Exhale to soften and lower. Good. Tuck your toes. It's a high plank or a tabletop. You can choose. Breathe in. And back to downward facing dog. That's your breath out. Good. Very nice. Hips up high, heels low. Good. All right. Lift your right leg up and back for a 3-legged dog as you breathe in. Bend the knee, flare open your hip, squeeze the heel towards your glutes as you breathe out. Pause there. Keep lifting the right knee up high. Get the stretch you need into that hip. Nice. And square out your shoulders. Good. Keep pushing your chest towards your left leg. Good. 3-legged dog. Straighten out the leg. Take a big breath in. Knee to nose, body weight forward on your breath out. Good. 3-legged dog. Inhale to send your right leg up and back. Now to runner's lunge, as you exhale, step your right foot outside your right hand. Tent your fingers as you inhale, sink the hips just a little bit, get it more stretch into the left hip flexor. And a wide pyramid as you exhale, lift the hips and try and straighten your legs as much as you can. Relax your neck. Again, inhale, rock forward. It's that lunge. Exhale to that wide pyramid, hips up. Relax your head again. One more time. Inhale to lunge forward. It's your runner's lunge. Exhale to that wide pyramid and pause here for a moment. Try and heavy the left heel to the mat more. Relax your shoulders away from your ears. Good. Inhale, look forward. It's your runner's lunge. Malasana squat. Exhale to step your left foot outside your left hand. Slowly melt the sitting bones down. Bring your hands to pray at your heart. Push elbows into knees and push knees back into elbows. If you take a little squeeze of your glutes, you can feel the hips open a little more. Good. Relax the shoulders. Nice. And then use the strength of your legs to stand. As you inhale, push down into the feet. Scoop the arms all the way up. Hands to pray at your heart. And then you can just step the feet together. Find Samasthiti here as you exhale. High mountain inhale. Scoop your arms up nice and high. Forward fold. Exhale to hinge from your hips. Take a halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen. And a forward fold. Exhale to soften. Rise to stand. Inhale, it's your high mountain. Easy back bend at the top. Cactus your elbows down. Lift your heart. You can bend the knees or keep your legs straight. Good. Inhale to rise. It's your high mountain. Forward fold. Exhale. Halfway lift your chest. Breathe in. High plank, hands down. Step your feet back on the breath out. Drop your knees down to the floor. As you inhale, send your body weight slightly forward. Do not arch your back, draw the belly in. Little chaturanga push-up. Exhale to bend your elbows. Inhale to straighten your arms. And then send your bum back towards your heels. Little modified child's pose. Your knees are on the floor. We do that again. Inhale to shift forward, shoulders just over your wrists. Exhale to bend your arms, hover your chest. Inhale to straighten your elbows. And then bum back towards your heels. Exhale. And last one. Inhale to shift forward, nice and strong. Exhale, bend your elbows, hover your chest. Inhale to straighten your arms. And back to that modified child's pose. Exhale. High plank. Inhale, spring forward, push off your toes. Beautiful, guys. Chaturanga halfway down as you exhale, or you can lower onto your tummy. Inhale, it's your first upward facing dog. If you're on your tummy, you do cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. From the belly, lift the hips, push the hands into the mat, and relax your head. Good. Stay for a breath in. And pause for the breath out. Good. Left leg up. Inhale. It's your three-legged dog. Bend the knee, flare open your hip. Hold for your exhale. Again, you want to get the stretch you need there. So keep lifting the left knee up high. Don't twist the right leg. Keep the ankle in line with your calf muscle. Good. Three-legged dog. Square out the leg. Breathe in. Knee to nose. Body weight forward. Breathe out. Good. Three-legged dog. Breathe in. And your runner's lunge. Step your foot lightly outside your left hand. Tense your fingers as you inhale. Sink your hips. Feel a bit more of a stretch into your right hip flexor. Yep. And your pyramid pose. Exhale to lift the hips. Straighten your legs to a degree that works for you and fold over your front leg. Yes. Inhale to your runner's lunge. Rock forward again. Bend the knees. Exhale to that wide pyramid. Hips up and back. One more time. Inhale to your runner's lunge. Exhale to that wide pyramid pose. Good. Heavy the right heel down a little bit more. Nice. Inhale, it's your runner's lunge. Rock forward. Malasana squat. Exhale to step the foot outside your hand. Hands to pray at your heart. Drop the bum. Drop the hips. Straight away, use your legs. Rise to stand up on your inhale. Scoop your arms out towards the sides. Hands to pray at your heart. Bring the feet together. Samasthiti. Exhale. Here comes that little cue. It's your vinyasa back to down dog. So you can leave the chaturangas out. Here we go. Inhale to your high mountain. Scoop your arms high. Forward fold. Exhale to hinge. Relax the back of your neck. Take a halfway lift as you inhale. Lengthen your spine. And we go chaturanga, high plank to low plank, your vinyasa, all the way back to downward facing dog. One breath, one movement. Good. Nice, guys. Beautiful. Nice. We meet in Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog, hips high, heels low. Hold and breathe. Good. All right. Three-legged dog. Lift the right leg up and back. Take a big breath in. Knee to nose, one time, body weight forward, shoulders over wrists, breathe out. Three-legged dog, inhale, right leg up and back. And pull the knee to your chest, look forward, it's a low lunge, land the foot between your hands. Nice, it's a high crescent lunge, stand up on your inhale, arms in line with your ears. Pause for the exhale, so hold it nice and strong. Good, draw the belly and the ribs in. Nice. Have a generous bend in the right knee and a little bend in the back knee. Good. Stay for an inhale. Lift your fingertips up a little bit higher. And a vertical twist to your right as you exhale. Slice the arms out nice and wide. Left arm back, right arm forward. You've got it. Left arm forward, right arm back. Sorry. Good. High crescent lunge. Inhale to gaze forward. Listen carefully. It's airplane pose. Exhale to glide forward onto that leg. Reach the arms behind you and lift the left leg up behind you. Good. Level out your hips, level out your shoulders, and notice how difficult it is, guys, to balance on one leg. It's not easy. That's why we throw these in. It's a real challenge. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Keep your eyes focused on one point. Good. It's a single leg Tadasana. As you inhale, stand up, pull the knee towards your chest. Yes. And then you step back to an arrow lunge as you exhale. So step the left foot back and tilt your upper body 45 degrees. If you're not sure, just have a look at me. Reach the fingertips behind you. Stay high up on the back toes. There's a little tuck to your chin as well. Just your arms now. As you inhale, reach them forward in line with your ears. And as you exhale, stretch the arms back behind you. And again, inhale, arms forward, draw the belly in. Exhale, take the arms back to your arrow lunge. And again, inhale to reach your arms forward. Exhale, reach the arms back into your arrow lunge. Good. It's a high crescent lunge. As you inhale, stand strong on both of your feet. Listen. To the left, it's a vertical twist. Exhale, the left arm back, right arm forward. Okay, you guys are going to need to listen. Lower your back knee down to the floor. So your left knee softens all the way down onto the mat. Yes. Take your left toes and spin them towards the right hand side of your mat so that you face the long edge of your mat. You're in a little kneeling shape here, and bring your hands to pray at your heart. Good. Nice, guys. As you inhale, lift your arms up in line with your ears. And then interlace the hands to the nape of the neck as you exhale, elbows out towards the side. Stay for an inhale. It's a side bend to the right. Lower the right elbow down towards the right thigh as you exhale. Good. Inhale, come up through the center. Keep your arms as they are, behind the neck. Good. Exhale again. Side bend towards the right. Try and tap the elbow to the thigh. Good. One more time. Inhale to lift through the middle. And exhale, tap right elbow to right thigh. Good. Lift your arms up as you inhale. Come up through to the center. And then windmill the hands, sorry guys, hold on a second, to the back of the mat as you exhale. All the way to the back of the mat. Yep. And then lift your left leg up. It's a three-legged dog as you inhale. Yes. Knee to nose. Exhale, body weight forward. Good. Three-legged dog. Inhale. Left leg up. To your left tricep. Out high and wide to the side. Exhale. Yes. Three-legged dog. Inhale. Left leg up. Now twist underneath you. Take a little tap to your right elbow. Exhale. Three-legged dog. Inhale, left leg up and back. Pull your knee to your chest. It's a low lunge. Exhale to step forward lightly. Rise. It's a high crescent lunge on your inhale. Stand strong on both of your feet. Hold for the exhale. So we're on the other side. We're going to hold this one so the next time we come around, we can float. Again, draw the belly in, stay strong in your legs, and scissor your inner thighs towards each other. Nice. Stay for the inhale, arms up a little bit higher. It's warrior two. Exhale to open. You're still bending into the left knee, so you're at the back of your mat. Good. Relax your shoulders. Power down through both of your legs. Nice. Draw the belly in. Stay super strong. Warrior two, we haven't moved yet. Good. Reverse your triangle as you inhale. Lean backwards and straighten the right leg. So you slide your right hand down your right shin. Yes, beautiful, guys. Extended side angle, flow. Rebend the front knee, forearm to thigh. Arm up and over your ear, or you can have your fingertips of your left hand on the floor. Good. Reverse your warrior on your inhale. So keep the bend in that front leg. Lean backwards again. Breathe into the left side body. Warrior two, as you exhale, open your arms to a T. Good. Hold there for me just a moment. Breathe. Strong legs. Okay, it's star. As you inhale, open up towards the wide of your edge of your mat. Lift your arms above your head. Heels in, toes out. And a horse pose. Exhale to bend the knees. Sweep the arms down nice and low. Inhale to rise at your five-pointed star, arms up. Exhale to your horse, bend the knees, get a little bit lower. Good, five-pointed star. Inhale to rise, strong arms, strong legs. Exhale to your horse pose one more time and bend the knees. Five-pointed star. Inhale to rise. To the front, it's your warrior two. Exhale to bend into the right leg, arms out, and power down through both of your legs on the other side. Good. Pull the mat apart with your feet so that you're active in your legs. Lift the tummy up, lift the ribs away from the hips, and relax the shoulder blades back and down. Good. Okay, reverse your warrior as you inhale, lean backwards. And then I don't know if you know this one is reverse warrior, up rainbow warrior. As you exhale, it's like a little high lunge to the back of your mat. Your right fingertips come down, you bend the left knee and you flex the right toes. If you're not sure, just have a look. Yep, like a high skandasana. Yes, you've got it, Stefan. Yes, beautiful. Good. Take a low lunge to the front of your mat as you inhale, fingertips around your toes. And a pyramid pose. Exhale, hips up and back, fold over your right shin. It's a low lunge again. Inhale to rock forward, shoulders away from your ears. Exhale is your pyramid pose, hips up and back, fold over your right leg. Good. Again, inhale to rock forward. It's your low lunge. Exhale to your pyramid pose. Nice. Hold there, heavy the back, heel down towards the mat, and roll shoulders away from your ears. Good. Breathe in and out of the nose. Good. All right. It's a low lunge as you inhale, rock forward again. And a little runner stretch. As you exhale, bend both of your knees. Pull your hips back, flex the front foot, and hover the back knee off the floor. And again, inhale, rock forward. It's your low lunge. Exhale to your runner stretch. Pull the front heel back. One more. Inhale, rock forward. Low lunge. Exhale to your runner stretch. Now listen carefully. Pounce onto your right foot for standing splits. Inhale your left leg up towards the sky. Standing splits. Exhale, it's a Shiva squat. Bend the knees. Tuck the left knee behind the right calf. Yes, guys, beautiful. Standing splits. Inhale, left leg up and back. Exhale to your Shiva squat. Bend the knees. Standing splits. Inhale, left leg up. And exhale to your Shiva squat one more time. Good. Standing splits. Inhale, left leg up. And a forward fold. Exhale, bring 2 feet together. Forward fold. Halfway lift your chest as you inhale, lengthen your spine. And fold over your thighs, empty out your lungs. Rise to stand. Inhale, it's your high mountain. Root down through both of the feet. Easy back bend at the top. Cactus elbows down. Lift your heart center up. Inhale, it's a high mountain. Lift your arms. Hands to pray at your heart. Exhale to Samasthiti. Relax your shoulders. Relax the face. Good. All right. Take a chair pose. Utkatasana. Inhale to bend the knees. Arms up. Hold there. And then eagle your right arm underneath your left. Eagle your right leg up and over your left. And come into your Garudasana, your eagle balance. Good. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Relax the shoulders down your back. Nice, guys. Draw the belly in. Hold. Breathe. 3, 2, 1. High mountain. Big breath in. Expand after all that compression. And a forward fold. It's a little sun A again as you exhale, hinge at your hips. So your vinyasa. Inhale to find your halfway lift. Exhale, you take it back to downward facing dog, however you are moving today. Mindful of your shoulders. Leave the chaturangas out if it's too much for you today. Good. We meet in downward facing dog, hips up high, heels low. Nice, guys. Breathe. Good. Okay, you take it to the other side. Left leg up and back. Inhale, it's your 3-legged dog. Knee to nose. Exhale, shift body weight forward, tuck your chin. Left leg up, inhale to a 3-legged dog. And a low lunge. Exhale to step forward between your hands. Rise, it's your high crescent lunge. Inhale to stand firmly on both of your feet. To the left, it's your vertical twist. Exhale, left arm back, right arm forward. Inhale, it's a high crescent lunge, gaze forward. Aeroplane as lightly as you can, glide forward, reach the fingertips towards the right heel. Nice, get your whole body parallel to the mat, flex the back foot. Let's keep that leg really nice and active. Good, hold and breathe. So you're in aeroplane, your back leg is off the floor. Yep, Your back leg is off the floor, guys. Yes, yes, lift the back leg up. Yes, hold it, good. It's a single leg Tadasana. As you inhale, stand up, pull the right knee to your chest, lift your arms up. Now step back to your arrow lunge. Exhale to step the right foot back, lean your upper body 45 degrees. Strong here, lean forward slightly, tuck your chin to your chest. Stay high up on the ball of the back foot, your back leg is straight. Just your arms, inhale, reach them forward to a rocket ship in line with your ears. Don't lift your chest. Exhale to your arrow, arms back behind you. Okay guys, listen, stay there. Nothing moves, just your arms. Don't come out of that arrow lunge. Here we go. Inhale, your arms just reach forward. Yes. Exhale to take your arms back to your arrow lunge. Beautiful. One more time. Inhale to reach your arms forward. Exhale to your arrow, take the arms back. Good. It's your high crescent lunge. Inhale to stand up nice and tall. To the right, it's a vertical twist. Exhale the arms out nice and wide. As you inhale, lower the right knee down to the floor. Pivot the shin parallel to the back of the mat. As you exhale, bring hands to create your heart space. You're in this little gate pose variation. Inhale to lift your arms up alongside your ears. Hand to the nape of the neck as you exhale and just hold there for a moment. Stay for the breath in and sit up nice and tall. And then side bend to your left thigh, elbow to thigh, exhale. Inhale to come up through the center. And again, take a side bend, elbow to thigh as you exhale. One more. Inhale up through the center. And exhale, left elbow to left thigh. Unbind your arms. Inhale to come up through the center. The back of the mat, pivot your hands. As you exhale, come up onto the left toes. It's your right leg that you lift up into a three-legged dog. So it's a bit of a tricky transition. Nice. Knee to nose. Exhale, shift body weight forward. Beautiful, guys. Right leg, inhale, three-legged dog. Knee to right tricep, out towards the side. Don't drop your hips. Right leg up again. Inhale, kick the ceiling. Twist underneath you to your left elbow. Exhale. Right leg up. Inhale. It's your three-legged dog. It's a low lunge. Pull knee to chest. Step forward. Good. High crescent lunge. Big breath in. Balance firmly on both of your feet. Warrior two. Exhale to open your arms to a T. And we can flow straight away. Reverse your triangle as you inhale. Straighten your right leg and lean backwards. Extended side angle, forearm to thigh, left arm over your ear. Have a generous bend in the right knee. Good. And peel your chest up towards the sky. Beautiful. Reverse your warrior as you inhale. Lean backwards again. Breathe into the right lung. And a warrior two. Exhale your arms out to a T. It's your five-pointed star. Inhale through the middle. Lift your arms, heels in, toes out. Horse pose, exhale, long breath out, bend the knees. Good, five-pointed star, inhale to rise. Exhale to your horse, get a little bit lower. Good, one more, inhale to your five-pointed star. Exhale to your horse, bend the knees, keep them over your toes. Nice, five-pointed star, take a big breath in. To the front of your mat, warrior two, exhale. Reverse your warrior as you inhale, lean backwards again, strong in that left leg. Extended side angle, forearm to thigh, right arm over your ear, pull your chest up towards the ceiling again. Good. And we go with that little transition. Let's reverse your warrior as you inhale. And a rainbow warrior, into the back leg you bend. I like a high skadasana. Yes. To the front of your mat, it's a low lunge. Inhale, fingertips around the front foot. And a pyramid pose. Exhale, lift your hips up and back, fold over your left thigh. With your breath, inhale, rock forward. It's your low lunge. Exhale, it's your pyramid pose, hips up. Again, inhale to your low lunge, look forward. Last one, pyramid pose. Exhale, hitting the right heel down, fold over your left shin, relax your neck. Nice, here we go. Inhale to rock forward, it's your low lunge. Runner stretch, bend the back knee, hover the back knee off the floor. There's a little bend in the front knee as well, flex the left toes. Now get that sensation of pouncing forward. It's a low lunge as you breathe in. And you'll run a stretch. Exhale to pull back. Low lunge again. Inhale, get this feeling, shift forward. Exhale to that runner stretch, flex the left toes. Now it's standing splits. Pounce onto the left foot, lift the right leg up, standing splits. Big breath in. Nice, guys. And a Shiva squat. Exhale to bend your knees. Standing splits. Inhale, right leg up. Shiva squat. Exhale. Good. Standing splits. Inhale, right leg up. Shiva squat. Exhale. Look forward. Standing splits. Inhale, right leg up. And a forward fold. Exhale. Bring 2 feet to meet. Halfway lift your chest. Breathe in. Fold over your legs. Breathe out. Rise up. Inhale. It's your high mountain. Arms reach up in line with your ears. Hands to pray at your heart. Exhale to Samasthiti. Pause there for a moment. Feel the beating of your heart. Feel your breath. Good. Chair pose. Utkatasana. Inhale to bend the knees. Arms in line with your ears. Eagle. Left arm underneath the right. Eagle. Left leg over the right. When you're ready, you come into the eagle balance. Breathe there. Good. Nice. Hold for 3, 2, and 1. It's a high mountain. Big breath in. Stand firmly on both of your feet. And a forward fold. Exhale to hinge from the hips. Fingertips to the floor. Changing it up a bit. It's a halfway lift as you inhale, lengthen your spine. And a high plank, hands down. Step back for your exhale. Shift your body weight forward. Take a big breath in. Lower all the way down to your tummy on your breath out. Good. We're taking Shalabhasana locust. So swim your arms behind you, interlace them with the lower back. Please untuck your toes. Yep. Now lift your arms up away from the back so you can lift your chest off the floor. If you want more, you can lift your feet up as well. If you feel this in your lower back, separate your feet slightly. Tuck the chin, point the toes. Nice. Stay for one more inhale. Lift everything a little bit higher. Exhale to lower down and take a child's pose. So we're having a little break. First official break of practice. Sitting bones to heels, knees out wide. Nice. Forehead to the floor. Good. Relax your upper body down. Allow the eyes to close. And breathe. All right, take your time just to reset, refocus, reestablish your breath. So slow it down, make it nice and smooth again. Now imagine that you're doing this as a power class in 38 degrees. Think about how you would feel. It's not a hell of a challenging sequence, but you're still doing quite a lot of movement. Okay. When you're ready to move, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Remember, you want to refine the shape. You want to map it into your muscle memory. So make sure it is correct. Spread your fingers. Lift the hips. Nice. Take big breaths in and out of your nose. Good. Same little sequence, changing things along the way. So keep your eyes and ears open. 3-legged dog, right leg up and back. Take a big breath in. Knee to nose, breathe out. Right leg up, inhale, it's your 3-legged dog. Low lunge, lightly step forward, empty your lungs. High crescent lunge, rise up on the inhale, scissor your inner thighs together. And a vertical twist to your right as you exhale. Don't move your hips, just move your arms. Inhale, it's your high crescent lunge, gaze forward. Aeroplane, exhale to glide, reach the fingertips back again. Maybe this one feels a little bit lighter, a little bit stronger, a little bit easier. It's a single leg Tadasana. As you inhale, stand up, pull the knee towards your chest. And a figure four stretch, ankle to thigh, hands to create your heart, stick your bum out. As you have a flex in the left foot, and soften the left knee a little bit closer down towards the mat. Soften your face, relax your shoulders. Good. It's a single leg Tadasana. Inhale to stand up again, knee to your chest. Listen carefully. And a low flying warrior is like an aeroplane. Hands to pray, but now bend the right leg. Get your tummy and chest close to that right thigh so that you are a little low to the floor and you're kicking out through the left heel. Good. Step back lightly. It's a high crescent lunge. Land lightly on the back foot. Arms up as you inhale. And take your twist to the left as you exhale. Open the arms nice and wide. Same movements. Drop the back knee down to the floor as you inhale. And then spin the shin around. Hands to pray your heart as you exhale. You're in that little kneeling shape again. Inhale your arms up alongside your ears. Extended side angle variation. Right forearm to thigh. Left arm over your ear in this little kneeling shape. Pause here. Good. Inhale to come up through the middle. Lift your arms up. To the back of the mat as you exhale, come up onto the right toes. As your left leg up, inhale to a three-legged dog. Knee to left tricep high and wide, exhale. Three-legged dog, inhale, left leg up and back. Twist underneath you, tap your right elbow, and then kick the leg out for fallen triangle. Straighten the left leg out towards the side. Do you guys know this one? No? Okay, guys. Yes. Okay, so your left leg goes towards the right-hand side of your mat. Lift the right arm up. You've got it. Yes, you've got it. Right arm up. Yes, beautiful, guys. If you haven't got it, it's okay. Just stay there, wherever you are. Nice. Good. Return the hand to the floor and bind your left leg up and back. Three-legged dog. Take a big breath in. It's your low lunge. Exhale to step lightly forward. Rise up. It's your high crescent lunge. Big breath in. And warrior two. Exhale to open your arms to a T. Reverse your triangle as you inhale. Gently lean backwards. Extended side angle. That's your breath out. Good. Reverse your warrior as you inhale, lean backwards again. And warrior two. Exhale your arms out to a T. That's your star. Inhale to lift and lengthen arms up. 1 times horse pose. Exhale to bend the knees, get nice and low. 5-pointed star. Inhale to lift your arms. Warrior two to the front of your mat. Exhale, arms to a T. Bend the right leg, warrior two. Reverse your warrior as you breathe in, lean backwards. And a rainbow warrior. Exhale like a high skandasana to the back of the mat. Bend the left knee, flex the right toes. Right hand down, left arm up. You've got it. Low lunge, the front of your mat as you inhale, around the right foot. Good. And a pyramid pose. Exhale, lift the hips up and back. You've got it. Inhale to a low lunge, rock forward. Runner stretch. Exhale to pull back. Hover the back knee off the floor, flex the front toes. Pounce forward, standing splits. Inhale, your left leg up. Nice. 1 time Shiva squat. Exhale to bend the knees. Standing splits. Inhale, your left leg up. Step back to a low lunge as you exhale. Pause there. And take side plank on your left hand, Vashisthasana. So stack your legs together, right arm up. Yep. Good. If you need to modify, your bottom shin is on the floor. Beautiful, guys. Power down through the arms. Your right arm is up, your left arm is down. Good. Breathe. Hold. Nice. It's a high plank as you inhale, right hand to the floor. And your chaturanga, exhale to lower halfway down. Inhale, it's your upward facing dog or your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift the hips. Power down through the hands. Good. Okay, we have that same sequence on the other side, and then we'll do a really short one and slow things down. So stay with your breath. 1 breath, 1 movement. Meditate, concentrate, focus. Left leg up, inhale, it's your 3-legged dog. Knee to nose, exhale. Left leg up, breathe in, three-legged dog. Low lunge, step lightly forward, empty your lungs. High crescent lunge, inhale to stand firmly on both of your feet. Rise up. To the left, let's take your twist, vertical twist, left arm back, right arm forward. High crescent lunge, gaze forward for your balance, breathe in. Aeroplane, glide onto the left leg, lift the right leg up behind you, reach the fingertips towards the right heel. Single leg Tadasana, inhale, pull your knee to your chest, arms up. Figure 4 stretch, right ankle to left thigh, stick your bum out, bend your knees, bring your hands to prayer at your heart. Relax the back of your neck. Hold and breathe. Beautiful. Single leg Tadasana, stand up nice and tall on your inhale. Low flying warrior, kick the leg behind you, hands to prayer, but now bend the left knee, tummy and chest parallel to the floor, but you lower that left thigh. Hold your balance. Nice. It's your high crescent lunge as you inhale, stand up nice and tall. To the right, it's your vertical twist. Exhale to open away from that bent leg. Here we go. Lower the back knee down to the floor as you inhale. Spin the shin parallel to the back of the mat. Hands to pray at your heart as you exhale. Beautiful, guys. Inhale to lift your arms up alongside your ears. And your extended side angle variation onto the left thigh, arm up alongside your ear. Good. Arms up through the middle. Take a big breath in. Windmill hand to the back of the mat as you exhale. You come up onto the back toes. And it's your right leg that you lift up. Inhale. It's your three-legged dog. Nice. Knee to your right tricep out towards the side. Exhale. Right leg up. Inhale. Three-legged dog. Twist underneath you. Tap your left elbow. Now take your fallen triangle. So straighten the leg out underneath you. Yep, right arm up. You've got it, guys. Breathe there. Up. So if you're not sure, have a little look. It looks like this. Okay, good. Return the hand to the floor. And then it's your right leg up and back. Inhale your three-legged dog. One breath, one movement. Here we go. Low lunge. Exhale to step forward between your hands. Rise. It's your high crescent lunge. Take a big breath in. Warrior 2. Exhale. Open your arms to a T. Reverse your triangle as you inhale, lean backwards, breathe into the right side body. Extended side angle, long, reach with the top arm over your ear. Nice. And reverse your warrior, big breath in. Warrior 2, that's your breath out. One time, 5-pointed star, inhale to rise to the center. Last time, horse pose, bend the knees, really low, exhale. 5-pointed star, inhale to rise. To the front, it's your warrior 2, exhale. Reverse your warrior, take a big breath in. Rainbow warrior, like a high skandasana, bend the right knee, left hand down, right arm up towards the back of your mat. Low lunge to the front of your mat as you inhale. It's a nice smooth transition. You've got it. Pyramid pose. Exhale, lift the hips up and back. Beautiful, guys. Low lunge. Inhale, gaze forward. Stay with it. Runner stretch. Pull back. Both knees off the floor. Hover the back knee. Flex the left toes. Pounce forward at your standing splits. Inhale your right leg up. And a Shiva squat. Exhale to bend the knees. Standing splits, inhale, right leg up. And a low lunge, exhale to step back. On your right hand, side plank. So it's your left arm that's up this time. Find your side plank, your Vashisthasana. Right arm down, left arm up. Good. And you want your body in one straight line. So pull your ear, right ear, back towards your right shoulder. So you're not hinging at your hips. Nice. Beautiful. It's a high plank. Take a big breath in. And your chaturanga, tuck elbows in, lower your chest halfway down. Choose up dog or cobra, big breath in. And downward facing dog, exhale, sitting bones up and back. Nice, guys. Take big breaths in and out of your nose here. And we're doing 2 short little sequences, one to each side. And then we will start to cool things down. So just breathe, stay with it. Okay, lift your right leg up for a three-legged dog. Take a big breath in. And a half pigeon. Land the foot behind the left wrist. Lower your shin down to the floor. Okay, listen carefully. I'm very pedantic about half pigeon. Please tuck the back toes. Walk your hips back. So walk that leg back so that you can shift your hips back. You can't be forward and fold forward. So you want to walk that back leg as far back as you can. Untuck your back toes. And then when you're ready, you fold forward into your half pigeon. Forearms to the floor or chest down to the mat, whatever you choose. Good. If this is uncomfortable for you, you do this lying on your back in a supine figure 4 stretch. Please, no pain in any of your joints. Check in with your body. Breathe. Hold. Okay, the next move is a little bit tricky. Place your forearms on the floor underneath you so that your shoulders are above your elbows, palms of your hands face down. You're going to come into a forearm plank. Tuck the back toes behind you. As you inhale, lift the hips and take your right foot back behind you to your forearm plank. Yep, beautiful guys, hold there. Slight rounding through the upper back, draw the belly in. Hold and breathe. You've got it. Forearms are on the floor. Elbows underneath your shoulders. Hold for 3, 2, and a sphinx pose on 1. Hips and pelvis down towards the mat. Untuck your toes. Pull your hands back so you pull your chest forward. Shrug your shoulders back and down. Just close your eyes and breathe here for a moment. Nice, and then lower your chest to the mat, hands underneath the shoulders, tuck your toes. High plank or tabletop, inhale to push up. And downward facing dog, exhale. Nice, guys. Okay, breathe in, breathe, breathe, breathe. Okay, to the other side, left leg up and back, inhale, it's your three-legged dog. And your half pigeon, exhale to step the foot behind the right wrist. Tuck the back toes, walk that leg back. Yes, guys, beautiful. And then you can fold forward. You cannot fold forward if your hips are too far forward. Very nice. Nice adjustments, beautiful. And relax the upper body. And feel the sensations in the left leg, left hip, left hamstring, left glute. You're getting a nice big stretch there. Okay, so when I'm teaching a class, I will have a look and make sure everybody can get all the way down. Otherwise, they can't do this next bit. So it's forearms down to the floor again. Same thing. You're going to come into your forearm plank. Tuck the back toes, breathe in. Step the left foot back to your forearm plank. And once you're there, walk your feet forward into dolphin. Yep, feet towards your face. And remember that little move, that cat and cow we did at the beginning of practice where you pushed your forearms down and make space for your head? Do the same thing here. Your head is off the floor. Your neck is relaxed. You're looking at your toes. Breathe, breathe, breathe. You can have a little bend in the knees so that you can have length through the spine. You're just going to hold it there for 3, 2, and 1. Drop your knees down to the floor and come into a tabletop. Hands underneath your shoulders. Nice, guys. And then we'll just rinse that out with some cat and cow. And this should feel good. As you inhale, it's your cow pose. Drop the belly down. Peel your heart and your chest forward. Exhale, it's your cat. Round through the upper back. Tuck the chin. Tuck the tailbone. And again, inhale, belly down. Cow pose. Exhale, it's your cat. Belly in and up. Beautiful. One more. Inhale, belly down. Find your cow pose. Exhale to your cat, round to the upper back, into your shoulders. Inhale to a neutral spine, and I'm changing this up to the sequence that I wrote down. It's a kneeling seat. As you exhale to slide your sitting bones towards your heels, slide your hands onto the tops of your thighs, sit up, relax your shoulders. You may even want to just roll them out a few times. It probably will feel quite good to do that. Okay, and then we're coming to the floor. So swing your hips to one side, left or right, it doesn't matter. And straighten the legs out in front of you. Shift yourself forward on your mat and get yourself set up for Paschimottanasana. Flex your heels, your toes. You can bend the knees as much as you need to. And then as you inhale, lift your arms up alongside your ears. As you exhale, fold over your thighs, and please take your hands over the tops of your toes so we can get the wrists into flexion. They've been in extension the whole class. Let's give them a different look. So fold the hands over the tops of the toes. Relax your chin to your chest just a little and draw your shoulders away from your ears. Nice. You want length through the lower back. Breathe. Good. Okay. Lift yourself up and out of that forward fold. Shift yourself way forward on your mat. Separate your feet hip-width distance apart, soles of your feet to the floor. As you breathe in, reach the arms forward like you're trying to touch something way ahead of you and connect the palms of your hands, tuck your chin. As you exhale, you're going to slowly roll down onto your spine. Keep rolling the shoulders forward and use a little bit of core strength here to keep the same pace. As you get lower, it gets a bit harder. See if you can roll down all the way onto your spine, one vertebra at a time. Last bit of work for your abdominal muscles. Good. And when you're at the bottom, pull your knees into your chest. Hold your shins. It might feel nice to rock side to side here. Just massage the lower back if that feels good. Good. And then float your arms and legs up for legs up the wall, Viparita Karani. And let some blood and some lymph flow away from the feet and the fingers. You can circle out into the wrists and the ankles. Your head is on the floor. Arms and legs straight up. Yep, 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 yep. Circle out into the wrists, circle out into the ankles. Just bring some movement into the joints and the connective tissue and the fascia. And then take a little happy baby. Open the knees out wide, bring the elbows inside. If you have short arms, it might be nice to peace finger bind around your big toes if you want a little bit more space. Tailbone connects to the mat, back of the head to the floor. And you can rock side to side, or you can just stay still in the middle. Good. Draw your knees to your chest. Lightly take a grip on your shins. Take the arms out nice and wide to a capital T shape alongside you, so out towards the side. And as you inhale, pull the knees towards your chest. Listen carefully. We twist to the left first. Exhale, knees to the left. Shift your gaze over your right shoulder. And we take the twist to the left first. So we just stretch into the ascending colon on the right-hand side of your body first. So as we close off practice, we keep the digestive system working in the correct direction. It's not the end of the world if you do it the other way around. Most teachers will tell you to twist to the right first, but I like to just do it to the left first. Relax your shoulder blades and soften into your face. So allow the jaw to relax, allow the face to really soften. Good. And then as you inhale, let's reverse that. So draw the knees back through to the midline. Your gaze is straight up. And then you twist to the right as you exhale, taking that little stretch into the descending colon on the left-hand side of your body. You can shift your gaze towards your left. Close your eyes. Maybe just take big belly breaths here, just nourishing the body with that breath a little longer before we end off in Shavasana. Good. And then as you inhale, draw the knees back through to the center. Hug knees to chest as you exhale. Give yourself a big squeeze. You can curl yourself up into a little ball if you like, or just stay with your spine flat. It's up to you. Just choose a shape that's going to help you just set your intention for your meditation and your Shavasana. And let's take one last breath together. So take a big breath in wherever you are. Fill up your lungs all the way. And then exhale, it's your Shavasana. Softly release the body, release the arms, the legs. If you feel like it's a little bit cold, guys, put something on. Please don't allow the body temperature to drop too quickly. And you can have a nice long 5-minute Shavasana or a little bit longer if you like. So to make it more comfortable, shrug your shoulder blades together underneath you. And palms of your hands will then face up towards the sky. And maybe take up some more space, legs out slightly wider and arms away from your hips. Good. Eyes closed. Face soft. And now try this. Allow the tongue to release from the top palate of the mouth. And notice straight away how your jaw relaxes. You can stay in your Shavasana for as long as you need. Probably I would like to give you a 10-minute break from now before we carry on with what we need to do. So stay there, take rest. And then when you are ready, you can get yourself out and maybe go and have some water or whatever you need to do. And be back at 1:30 so we can carry on. Don't rush. There's plenty of time. It's only 1:20. Right, I'm disappearing to go and get some water myself because my mouth is quite dry. So 1:30, I'll meet you back on your mats. Namaste, guys. Where is she, Shada? Does she want to come in here? Hey guys, we have about another 4 minutes or so, so just start to make your way. Stefan, your practice is amazing. Very strong. Very nice.
Yeah, I'm a bit crazy in that I go like straight to the advanced stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's been a while since I've done one of these types of classes. I've moved on to like hatha.
Okay.
I like that, like go at it for like 5 minutes and then take a few poses and then like let it work in the body and then go again and then
Yeah, it's a bit
I don't
different.
know. Yeah, it's nice. This is just like I'm kind of over the whole from start to finish go.
Yes.
I've had, yeah, because I started with that, so I've had quite enough
Okay.
experience in that, and like I'm enjoying the more traditional, more focused part.
Good.
Parts of it.
Okay. Now everybody finds their own little niches and their own little styles that they like, and everybody is different, so that's good. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, guys have an advantage that your arms are a lot stronger than girls' arms anyway. But yeah, good, nice practice, very good, very strong.
But then again, but then again, when I do like yoga, then I'm always jealous of the flexibility. Like it's taken me about 2 years to get to like this point,
Okay.
just in the flexibility. So like
Yeah.
the strength I always had was never really a problem. But yeah, it was annoying when the first pose was reclining pigeon, where I
Yeah.
couldn't actually like when I started, I could get my foot on my knee, but then I couldn't get further than that.
Oh my
Like,
word. Okay. Okay. Sure. Yeah. The
so then,
flexibility is. I find it's. I don't know. I think it's easier to build strength, but maybe that's just because I'm not flexible either. But yeah.
yeah.
But it's amazing how
But then
things
again,
carry on.
then again, I'm crazy. Like when I discovered.
Oh, you've just frozen. Up, 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 up. Okay, you've just frozen, Stefan.
Like,
Okay, carry on now. Now you're back.
no, what I was saying is when I first discovered yin yoga, then I think the first thing I did was I sat in a straddle hold for 15 minutes.
Wow.
So like, yeah, just to like kind of see, because I'm a bit like crazy that way. So I'll push it to the extreme and see where it goes. And
Just don't hurt yourself.
well, that's
I've lost you again. Don't injure yourself. That's all I'm saying. Let me just check my Wi-Fi here.
like strength. Started with yoga. Just, okay, cool. Just throw strength at it, and it worked. Like it hurt. There were a lot of. I think the term is niggly bits.
Yes.
But nothing serious, luckily. But again, I also like think because of my strength background,
Yes.
like that kind of did help. Like my joints were strong for
Yes.
like the age that I was lifting.
That makes sense.
It transposed well. The only thing I really lacked was like flexibility.
Okay.
But the focus and just bulldozing through, I think being in band, like it's worked out pretty well so far.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, good. All right. Oh, is everybody ready to get back to where we were? I'm going to put my PowerPoint back on. Oopsie. Let me just, oopsie. No. That's not right. Uh-oh, shit. Hang on. Okay. Hang on. I have to go to sharing first. I never remember how to do this. Oh my word, it's so confusing for me. Okay, PowerPoint. Share. Oh, okay. Flip it. Let's just see if I can. Okay. All right, I just want to see if everybody is back. Most people are, looks like. Okay. Actually, just let me just stop this share. I just want to ask you guys for a second. Oh, okay. Before we carry on, okay, I've had feedback from Stefan. Any feedback about that practice? Did you hate it? Did you love it? Was it too fast? Was it too slow? Any comments? Good, bad, doesn't matter. I just want to know your feeling. Yes, Dasha.
Well, I loved it. I found it quite strenuous. So I
Yes.
was regretting it. I didn't do 2 hours of training like Stefan did during lockdown, but it was good. Yeah, thank you.
Good, a pleasure. Okay, anybody else? Did anybody absolutely hate it, never want to do vinyasa again? No. Good, okay. Haven't put anybody off for life yet. Okay, then we're doing all right. Okay, we're going to go back to our PowerPoint. Don't forget, if there's any questions, please just ask me. Go slideshow and play from slide. Okay, so that's where we were. We're just going to have a quick look at these are the 28 most common vinyasa poses. I don't know if you want to take a screenshot of that or a picture of that, you can. But these are most of the poses that you will see, or a lot of the poses that you will see in vinyasa classes. Because remember, there's a lot of different movements in yoga, but there are only a certain number of poses. So think about your sequencing. You're going to be teaching similar poses to every other vinyasa teacher. So you have to try and find different ways of maybe transitioning into the poses or sequencing slightly differently or bringing in slightly different movements that are not crazy, not gym-like, but still challenging enough and interesting enough to keep your class and your flow interesting. Okay. It's gone now. Wait, where's everybody?
Sorry, babe, we can't see your screen.
Sorry, say that again.
We can't see your screen. We're seeing each other.
Oh, yeah, I can see something's happened here. Hold on a second. What is going on here? Hold on. Okay, you can see me now. Can you guys see me now? No. Huh. Okay, hang on. Okay, and now guys, can you see me? No. What are you saying? Just yourselves? I've disappeared.
Yeah, we can see you, but we can't see your PowerPoint.
Oh, now you can see me.
Yes.
Okay. I took my PowerPoint off. Okay. Okay, let me do that again. Let me share it again. Hold on a second. Right, let's go to share screen. PowerPoint. Share. Oh, I didn't click share, that's why. Okay.
Now.
Okay, is it there now? Cool. Okay. See, let me just try and get to where I need to be here. Slideshow. Play from current slide. Okay. Okay, you guys should be able to see that now. Okay, so take a picture of that if you like. You'll see a lot of these poses in vinyasa classes and power classes. Okay, and then I'm going to move on to the next one. Okay, these are just some pictures of some of the most common poses. And you can see, I mean, it's quite a lot that you can do, but it's, as I said, there's only a certain number of poses that are actually traditional yoga poses. You can always try and bring in something slightly different, but we're all generally sticking to the same things. That's my point. So you need to try and find a way to make your classes interesting and sequence in such a way that people have fun doing your classes. There's nothing worse than going to a boring yoga class. Okay. Peak pose sequence flows. I know that Catherine is going to be doing a lot of the peak pose sequencing stuff with you, but you need to, if you are sequencing to a peak pose, you obviously need to sequence progressively to the peak pose or the most difficult pose. So anatomically, you need to work on strength and flexibility. You need to think about the action of the peak pose. In other words, maybe dristi. If you're going to teach bakasana or crow, you want your dristi to be slightly forward. You want easy poses to harder poses. And you need to just give instructions on what to look for in the poses. And you probably noticed that in that vinyasa class, a lot of the poses were repeated. And we do repeat the poses because sometimes people don't quite get into it the first time. And so it's a good idea to give them a second opportunity to get into those poses. So a lot of the poses are repeated. So if you're doing a sequence and you're doing it maybe twice, or whatever, it's not the end of the world. You need to actually do repeat poses so you can get in a little bit deeper. And then with your flow, when you're thinking about sequencing, the most difficult thing is to actually link the poses together with fun or different transitions, to move from one pose to the next, because obviously it's not static. We don't just stand there, we're moving all the time. Okay. Is there peak pose sequencing in vinyasa classes? Sometimes there is. Most of the time, well, a lot of the time there isn't, but the peak poses are not really taught a lot. They are just added in. So for example, you will say to people when we're in Malasana squat, I'll say either hold your Malasana, or if you want Bakasana, crow pose, then take it if you know it. So people who know how to do crow pose will do it, and people who don't will just stay in Malasana, or they will try Bakasana and see if they can do it. Okay. So why isn't peak pose sequencing really taught? It's because the sequencing has to be fun and fast and flowy. Okay. So there's no time to actually stop and break down a peak pose. The peak poses are offered, but they often aren't actually taught. A lot of people don't want a peak pose. And this is something that you learn as you teach. I had one of my very regular students, you know how we did our arrow lunge today and we took both arms forward and both arms back? Well, I changed it up and I said something like right arm forward, left arm back. We just swapped out our arms differently instead of both arms together. And he came to me afterwards and said that had so messed with his brain, remembering trying to get left and right, that he'd lost his whole flow. Okay, so people don't often want to stop and break down and have a peak pose broken down for them. It might be the only hour that they move the whole week. So people want to arrive in your class. I'm talking about vinyasa classes that you teach at studios. They want to move. They want to do a little bit of balancing. They want to do a little bit of twisting. They want to do a little bit of back bending. If a peak pose is there and they know how to do it, they'll do it. But if you stop and you break down and explain and demonstrate a peak pose, you stop the flow. Having said that, my pose that I'm teaching this week in every single class I teach this week is Ashtavakrasana 8 angle pose, which I don't normally do because it's stopping the flow, but I'm adding it in right at the end, one side, and right at the end on the other side. And it seems to be working. I mean, people battle with it. It's a strong, challenging arm balance. But I sometimes think we don't get the opportunity to teach properly. So every now and then I'll bring in a peak pose, but it is not something that I do all the time because most of the students at the studios just want to breathe and move and feel like they have had a little bit of fun along the way, and that is it. Okay, so peak pose sequencing is not always what everybody wants, but you will have to feel it out for yourself. You will have to check in with the formula of the yoga studio that you are teaching at, and just play around with how you want to teach. Okay, teaching peak poses gives you an opportunity to teach properly. There's not much, you don't really need to teach a lot in airplane, let's face it. So it's quite nice to get into teaching peak poses, but as I've said, it breaks the flow, and not everybody that comes to your classes wants that, because they want to just flow. That's the whole point of vinyasa. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Oopsie. Okay, so these are some of the peak poses that you will see in vinyasa classes. You'll see your crow pose, your side crow, 8 angle, that's what I'm teaching this week. Your hurdless pose, handstands. We'll often say handstands from standing splits. If you want to practice kicking up into handstand, then kick up into handstand. So it's not really taught, it's just offered. And people that want to practice handstands will try, and people that don't will just stay in standing splits. I don't know if you want to take a picture of this as well, but you can, just that you have that in mind. And there's some more. Splits, birds of paradise, very common. Dancer's pose is a lovely peak pose to teach to, because most people can do it. That one's always fun, accessible, and you don't need to break it down too much. You can still keep it relatively fluid and flowy while you're teaching that one. Okay, so where are we today? Well, I'm sure Catherine's mentioned Jason Crandall. He is a very well-known vinyasa teacher, and he encourages critical thinking and intelligence sequencing. He moves very, very slowly. And just as I encouraged you to watch a video of Baron Baptista, I would like you to go and watch a video of Jason Crandall if you haven't already, and just notice how he teaches. It is very, very, very slow. Okay, so go and check it out. So you need to just experience different teachers, different ways of teaching, and just find what resonates with you, and you'll know who you want to practice with, and it will give you more of a sense of what you're looking for in your own practice. This is something that I just want to share with you. If you have a look at these pictures, Jason puts these up on you can Google it and you can find these sequences. And I have often used these, especially in the beginning, to sequence a class. And I'll tell you why. Because all the poses are there for you. They're all progressive. So they're all moving from easier to more difficult poses. So basically the sequence is there. All you need to do is figure out or sequence or plan how to transition from one pose to the next. So I will sometimes have a look at that little sequence, and I'll go, okay, that's great. What is he working to? Splits, fantastic. How can I take those individual pictures and make transitions between them and make it into a flow? So I've sometimes, when I'm a little bit stuck, even now, I'll go and have a look at one of his little thumbnails or whatever. And it's been quite handy every now and then just to think, okay, I've got the sequence. I don't need to think about that. It's all there for me. I just need to plan how I'm going to transition between the sequences to make it into a flow. Does that make sense? Okay. So Jason Crandall's one of them that we often use. And then Jenny Rawlins, if you don't follow her on Instagram, I'm sure Catherine's mentioned her, please go and follow her. She has a lot of short little, simple little flows that you can build into or add into any class or a class that you are teaching to build into your flow. So she's got very short little flows, very short little sequences, which are brilliant for if you need a little bit of inspiration. You can go and have a look at some of those and bring them into your classes. I haven't watched her classes where she uses kettlebells and other stuff in her classes, but apparently she does use a lot of that stuff as well. And she's very, very much into functional range conditioning, into mobility, and she's very knowledgeable. So if you don't follow her on Instagram, please do. She's amazing. Common vinyasa transitions. We did a few of them today. We did star to horse and star to warrior 2. So these are just a whole lot of others that you will see in vinyasa classes. I think I've got pictures. Yeah, there's Skandasana, which we didn't do today. We did high Skandasana. But you can change direction. You can do a Skandasana, and then you can do a low lunge to the front or the back of the mat. So it's just transitioning and moving people around the mat. People actually quite enjoy, doing things to the front of the mat and the back of the mat, because it just makes it a bit more fun and a bit more interesting. Curtsy squats. You can change the legs, so you can do chair pose, curtsy, right leg back, and then chair pose, curtsy, squat, step the left foot back, and then you're on the other side, and you can move with the left leg. So it's a nice little way to transition and change legs if you want to move on to the other side. Okay. You can also use different arm variations here. Sometimes I do Gomukhasana while they're holding curtsy, squat, or eagle, or something different with the arms. Prasarita, wide-legged forward fold. You can halfway lift and then you can turn to the front or the back of the mat so you can change direction. You can offer an inversion here as well if you want to make it a bit more interesting. 5-pointed star we did today. Okay, so think about it. 5-pointed star, there's not much really going on. Okay, horse, or that little squat that we do, is quite nice to hold and do something different with the arms. But this 5-pointed star to horse, I just use it as a little reset for people to breathe. Because the hardest thing in yoga, especially for beginners, is the breath. Beginners do not know how to breathe in yoga, and I'm sure you would have noticed that when you started. They're so busy trying to get the poses that the breath is nowhere. So 5-pointed star to horse is really just an opportunity for them, honestly, sometimes just to get them to breathe. And I'll say to them, focus on your breath here. And that's all. So just to try and remind people that the breath is the most important part of yoga, and just doesn't work so well for beginners. They cannot breathe with Ujjayi pranayama. They basically, I think, well, I know when I started, hold their breath most of the time. Okay, so it's tricky for beginners to breathe. This is the one I was talking about. Horse pose or goddess squat is nice to hold, nice for the legs, and you can add some arm variations. Reverse warrior we did today. There's a few just different transitions. We did reverse warrior to rainbow warrior today, which is quite a nice transition, but there's other things that you can do. Common one is reverse warrior to half moon, which I did put in the written sequence, but I left it out today. I didn't want to kill you guys. Make it too difficult. Okay, reverse triangle we did today. Figure 4 stretch, you can change legs. You can do figure 4 stretch and then a little chair, and then figure 4 stretch with the other leg on top, and then you change your legs around. So quite nice. And you can do different arm variations here as well. How do we put together? Okay. Okay, so this is basically how you put together sequencing towards peak pose, but Catherine will go through most of this. I just want to focus or bring the attention more to how you would bring it into a vinyasa class that you would be teaching at the studios. And so the interesting things to use are different transitions. You need to learn how to sequence. I write my sequences down after I have taught them. I know that sounds weird. So I will get onto my mat. I will either think of a peak pose that I'm working towards, or even if it's just half moon, and I will sequence towards that. Or I will find an interesting transition and I will sequence around getting people to do that transition a couple of times so that they can get it. So you need to find a way to sequence for yourself. It might mean that you write down your sequences before you actually teach them. You might have little key cards or something. I just don't know why I do it this way, but I practice this. And oh, yes, and practice your own sequence, guys. Practice it. If it doesn't feel good in your body, I can guarantee you it's not going to feel good in other people's bodies. So when you have sequenced a class, don't just think it's done and dusted. Practice it. Not only do you get to feel what it feels like in your body, but it also you map it into your brain so that you can remember it, so that you can teach it without standing and having to read it off a piece of paper. Okay, so think about how you like to sequence, how you would like to do it. I teach the class first, and then I write it down. Very weirdly enough, and I've got books of my sequences that I've written down, but I don't think I've ever taught the same sequence twice, because I will go back and I will say, I didn't quite like that, or oh no, that's okay, but I'm going to make it more interesting and add that in instead. So even around those skeleton sequences I've done in the past, I don't generally teach the same sequence. Very, very seldom have I taught the same sequence twice or more. Okay, because there's always things that you can change up. Make sure that you offer a well-rounded movement. I told you everybody wants to breathe. They want to balance. They want to twist. They want to have a little bit of back bending, a little bit of something challenging, even if it's crow pose. So, and make sure your classes are fun. Make sure your classes are fun. Doesn't mean you do crazy wild stuff. It just means that you present yourself maybe with a little bit of lightness in your voice and just have fun. Yoga is supposed to be fun. So just bring that into your teaching as well. And then always remember that you need to regulate the sequence. In other words, you need to give them a chance to rest. Offer child's pose. Tell them they can take it as often as they like, or put them into child's pose like I did with you guys today. You didn't have a choice. We were in child's pose. We were resting. Because that is also a chance to reconnect with the breath. And let's not forget, it is still yoga. We're not doing gym. Okay, so even though the sequence may be challenging, it may be a power class, keep that in mind and regulate it for your students, because sometimes, like Stefan sounds like he won't be able to regulate it himself. He'll just go, go, go. So you need to just keep in mind that you need to just give everybody a chance to take a rest as well. Okay, so bring that into your sequencing as well. Think about it. Practice your sequence and think, okay, I feel like I've done a little bit too much here. Let me think about either standing in Tadasana with your eyes closed is also resting or putting people in child's pose. Okay, so it's not only the poses that you need to think about, it's the regulation and the slowing down and the time to take a break as well. Okay, I'm not mentioning that again because we've been through that. I'm not mentioning that. Transitions we've done. No, we've done. Okay, so this is what I was telling you about sequencing and teaching. I've told you 2 of those things already. Use key cards, practice your own sequence. I didn't tell you, if you make a mistake, don't panic. Okay, so that's a big thing. In the beginning, we all make mistakes. I still make mistakes today. I once was teaching and got totally lost and stood in high crescent lunge, and luckily I know my students quite well, so I said to the one on the right, Robert, can you remember where we went from here? And he said no. So then I said to the one on the left, Muhammad, can you remember where we went from here? And he said no. And then I said, oh, I've just remembered, and carried on. And everybody had a good laugh, and it wasn't a big deal. So you do get a bit nervous if you forget your sequence, but try and make it a little bit fun and just get people to have a bit of a laugh, and it's not the end of the world. Okay. What did I say there? Give yourself time. Yes. So when people, just give yourself time to breathe as well. So in child's pose, that's not only giving your students a rest, but it's giving yourself a rest as well. Giving your voice a bit of a rest, catching your breath, and maybe remembering where you're going in your sequence so that you don't get lost. And have fun, guys. Have fun. Okay, here's a little question for you. I'm going to stop the sharing here because this is important. Okay, you probably didn't notice how I cue when I teach. Most yoga classes that you go to, okay, I'm gonna talk you through a little Sun A, and I want you to listen to the cueing, and then I want to see if you can tell me the difference between the two. Okay, so listen carefully. Inhale, high mountain. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, high plank. Or high mountain, inhale. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway lift, inhale. High plank, exhale. Do you notice the difference? In the first one, I'm cueing the breath first and then the movement. In the second one, I'm cueing the movement first and then the breath. Sometimes I do a little bit of both. Mostly for me, I cue the movement first and then the breath. Because if I say high mountain, the inhale is going to come anyway. But if I say inhale, I find that people are waiting because they're breathing in, but they don't know where they're moving. Okay? Feel it out for yourselves. I promise you, it changed my whole teaching when I started to cue the movement and then the breath. It works for me. It may not work for you, but it's just a little tip. Feel it out for yourself. The next time you go to a yoga class, listen to how the teachers cue. Most of them cue the breath first and the movement second. Okay? Figure it out. Play around with it for yourselves. I did a little bit differently. Okay, so let's go back to share screening again. PowerPoint, share. Oh, goodness. Right, okay. Can you guys see that? Yep. Okay. Oops. All right. I'm not going to go through this again. Oh, well, this is common. Malasana to crow. You'll see twisted chair to side crow is a common transition to an arm balance. I'm just going to go through these relatively quickly. Twisted lunge to side crows. Also, I mean, you can think of different ways to get into different poses. Chair to Navasana is very commonly used as well. You must have seen this extended side angle to birds of paradise, very commonly taught in, I would say practically just about every yoga class you go to. I like to teach birds of paradise properly, so I don't really just throw it in, but it is thrown in most classes. In other words, like it's not taught. So if you're an extended side angle and you want to take yourself to birds of paradise, then off you go and you do it. So it's not really taught. The people that can do it will do it, and the people that can't will just stay in extended side angle. Triangle to half moon is a nice transition. Forearm plank to dolphin, we did today. Standing splits to handstand, often offered. Difficult to teach handstands in a vinyasa class. There are a few cues that you can give, like shift your shoulders over your wrists, keep your drishti down between your hands, you know, just very quick little cues, but you can't teach handstands properly. The last thing I want to talk about is music. And I promise you, I think finding a music selection is much more difficult than sequencing. It is not easy to put together a playlist. You need to have a bit of an idea of how you want to sequence your class. So in other words, you start off with slow music for the slow movements. Then as you progress into bigger movements, maybe your music is a little bit faster. And then towards Shavasana, you obviously want to slow it down again. When you are choosing songs, please listen to the whole song, because I've made the mistake of choosing a song that's very slow and relaxed in the beginning, and then halfway through it suddenly turned into rap, okay, which is what you don't want. And that was my fault. I didn't listen to the whole song. I just assumed that the whole song was going to be soft and gentle, and it wasn't. So just make sure that you know your songs and that you are not surprised if it changes halfway through. Spotify is very good to use because Spotify creates playlists according to what sort of songs you like. So it'll put together playlists for you. Apple Music is also quite good. And then ask other teachers if they can share their playlists. You might find some of them are very reluctant to do that. I'm not reluctant to share my playlists at all. If you want to use my playlists, you are very welcome to. You can go and look at Spotify and you can use them. I don't have a problem with that. Once again, I believe in abundance for everything. And if you want to use my playlist, that's absolutely fine. And just remember that most of the time, the music is not the class. In other words, don't have the music blaring so much that the people cannot hear your instructions or where to go, because it's not about the music, it's about the movements, the asanas, and the breath. And then be mindful of the volume of your music. Don't have it up too loud because people cannot hear you, and you're going to have to shout above the volume of your music, which I don't enjoy, having a teacher shouting at me the whole way through a yoga class because the music is so loud. So that's just a little bit of advice about that. Okay, I'm going to stop the sharing now. Okay, guys, so any other questions? Anything you like? Anything you want to ask about teaching vinyasa? Anything that you can think of? If there's anything you want to ask me, you can ask me. And if not, then I'll just give you some life experiences along the way that I've had teaching. Nobody got any questions?
I've got a question.
Yes,
I haven't quite formulated it in my brain yet, but there are some questions relating, so it will make sense.
Okay.
So I'm kind of understanding that we are being taught to teach peak pose sequencing in a very specific way.
Mm-hmm.
Not the normal way of our general vinyasa classes at the moment.
Yes.
So where does this peak pose sequencing style really fit in if it's not what most studios are used to teaching?
Good question. Probably at smaller studios. The bigger studios, Yoga Spirit, Yoga Life, Yoga Zone. I mean, those are the ones that. Oh, and I also teach at a private studio in Takai, but she also likes sort of the general movement. So I teach the same sequence wherever I'm teaching. I would say smaller studios where you have a little bit more of a chance to maybe be a bit more authentic in your teaching if you want to teach peak poses. The bigger studios, yeah, as I said, it's difficult because you break the flow and a lot of people don't want that. So it's difficult. Also, a lot of people can't do the peak poses. So a lot of them are just going to sit and watch and then they feel like they've missed out a little bit. But as I said, I mean, I'm teaching 8-angle pose and I give people an option to sit in a twist while people are taking the peak, the arm balance, or they can try. So if you are teaching a peak pose and you want to offer an alternative, just think of something that they can do in the meantime, or you can just tell them to rest or whatever. I think smaller studios, you'll have more of a chance teaching peak poses. But having said that, like I said, you can bring them in sometimes. I don't do it all the time, but this week I'm teaching 8-angle pose just for a change. And I'll see how it goes. You know, some people will go, that was great, and some people won't feel mad about it, but it's okay. I'm confident enough. I've been teaching long enough to give it a go and just see how people take it. But it is a good question, and peak posing is probably done, I would say, at smaller studios. Anything else? I wanted to say something actually while you were asking me that question. Now it's gone out of my brain. Oh, Dasha, yes, you want to say something?
I want to ask you from your experience teaching online versus in person, do you find that you've got people now interested, that they see the benefits, that they save time? Or, you know, I just wonder your experience.
Okay, to be completely honest, Zoom classes, when lockdown started, Zoom took off with a bang. We would have 45 people at least on Zoom classes. As lockdown continued, Zoom classes have dropped off tremendously. Tremendously, I mean hugely. If we're lucky if we get 8 people. This morning I taught at Yoga Spirit, I had 1 person online. Sure. So it's difficult. I think people enjoyed it in the beginning, but I think people miss the physical interaction. There are those people who obviously don't want to have to get into their car and drive to a studio, who will always do your online. But I've just watched what's happened over the last couple of months, how the classes have gone from 45 people to, we were just praying for 8 at one stage. That was like 8 is like fantastic. Wow, that's a lot of people on Zoom, which is ridiculous because it's not actually. So it's difficult. I think people, and being back in the studios now, people are really appreciating the physical connection. And I think a lot of them are happy to be back in the studios. So teaching online is difficult. Also teaching online, most of the time people have their videos off. Okay, which how on earth as a teacher do you teach people on Zoom when they've got their videos off? You can't see what they're doing. You can't correct anything. You're basically doing the whole class, which is not great. So as a teacher, you just feel like you are not actually, you just feel like you're just doing the class and hoping everybody is watching you and doing what they're doing, because most of the time their videos are off, which is terrible. Really, that's why I'm so glad you guys have your videos on. It's so nice to see what people are doing. That's what you get taught as a teacher. That's one of the things you're doing, is watching the class and watching your students and giving verbal cues to help people. Terrible when you can't see anybody. So that's the disadvantage of teaching online, I must be honest. Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes, perfectly. No, I get you completely.
All right, Alicia, you want to ask something?
Yeah, I'm not very familiar with vinyasa. What's your experience with music? Do you play or do you not? Because the few classes I went to, the music annoyed me so much because I couldn't hear the instructions at all. And she also didn't notice because she was talking in a normal tone and I couldn't, like, you have to watch her the whole time.
Yes. No, I keep my music relatively soft. I don't want to have to shout over my music, because then I change the way that I'm teaching. I don't want to scream and shout at you when I'm teaching yoga. If we were in a gym studio, absolutely I'll scream and shout at you, but I don't want to do that. So I want to have my music at a quite a even level, so that people can hear me without me having to shout. So you're absolutely right. I mean, some studios offer very loud music. If you've got a yoga life and you do their power class, the music is blaring and pumping, and some people absolutely love that. That's fine. If that gels with you, that's great. I don't like being shouted at for an hour over music. That's just not, for me, it's not yoga.
Yeah. So do you find that people prefer having music or not? Really?
People like music. People like music. Yep. People like music. Most people like music. Does each studio specify whether or not you need to use music? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Most of them say music. I wanted to also mention about Sanskrit, because Sanskrit, it's such a pity that we don't use it more often, because as I said, the bigger studios, people who are coming for just that hour of movement are not really interested in hearing Sanskrit for every single pose. And it's such a pity, because Sanskrit is so beautiful, and the reason behind Sanskrit is that the name of the pose actually sends vibrations into the parts of the body that are needed for the pose. So it's such a pity that we don't actually use a lot of it. And some of the studios will say no Sanskrit. Okay, so then you have to do what the studio owners are telling you. So that's one of the things they will tell you. Most of them want music, and most of them want very little or no Sanskrit, which is a pity, because that's part of yoga. If you teach at smaller studios, Candace, maybe you get a chance to use more Sanskrit as well as teaching to peak poses, because I think they will give you a little bit more freedom to do what you want to do. Dasha, do you want to ask something else, or was that from before? No. Okay. All right. Just take that off. Okay. Right. Okay, so another big part of advice that I'll give you if you're going to teach, and this doesn't matter which kind of yoga you teach, is to be authentic and be yourself. I can't stand it when I go into a yoga class and I can hear that the yoga teacher is just saying something because it sounds good, and she doesn't sound like she means it. It doesn't sound authentic. If you don't believe in mudras, don't teach them, because it's going to come across like you don't know what you're doing, or like you don't enjoy teaching mudras. So be authentic. There is nothing better than that. I promise you, there's nothing better than an authentic teacher, even if it's somebody that makes mistakes along the way. To me, it's just you can hear and you can feel when somebody isn't authentic in the yoga practice. And that is just, for me, don't pretend to be something that you're not. Teach from your heart, from your soul, and you will be absolutely fine. Don't try and copy other teachers. Be yourself. You will develop your own style. You will find your own following. What is the point of everybody being the same as everybody else? Okay, so really try and just be authentic, be yourself, and teach in a way that feels good for you. You want to feel like you are offering yourself, and we do give a lot of ourselves with teaching. So if I'm giving a lot of myself and now I'm trying to be this inauthentic, I don't know what the right word is, person, it doesn't sit well with me either. So just be yourselves, guys. It's the best advice I can give you, honestly. Having said that, you will get people that don't like your teaching and don't come to your classes. Don't take it personally. Not everybody is going to like the way that you teach, and there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. I had a lady who used to come to my classes at Yo Yoga. She hated every single one. She would start complaining from the moment she walked in that it was too hot. She would stand in the front, literally fanning her face. It was just terrible. The energy, when I saw her arrive at the studio, I used to feel sick. It just made the whole energy of the class terrible, because I know she would then go into the change rooms afterwards and complain about my class. Why she came to every single class of mine, I don't know. I think she got a bit of joy out of bitching to everybody, excuse my language, in the change rooms. When I was established enough and confident enough, I actually told her the one day, please don't come back to my classes, because I couldn't take it. It was terrible. So she stayed away for a while. And guess what? She's back. But she's back completely different. And our relationship is completely different. But it took a lot for me to put my foot down and to say to her, please don't come back to my class, because it was just awful. So you will get all sorts of different things going on in your class. You will get people that may walk out and complain, whatever. Take it as constructive criticism as much as you can, but don't put up with stuff like that unnecessarily. Okay. You are holding space. You need to be able to hold that space comfortably, and you will get people that have a vibe or an energy that just doesn't gel with you, and hopefully they won't come back to your classes and you won't have to deal with it. Okay. But not everybody is going to like your teaching. So what? You will have people that do. They will come back to your classes, and that's what you want. You want the people who enjoy your teaching to be at your classes. Okay. Takes a long time to build up a following. I won't lie. I've been teaching for 5 years. It probably took about 2.5, 3 years to really get known at the studios and to build up a following. So it takes a long time. People tend to gravitate towards the teachers that have been at the studios for longer because they know them. So it's difficult, but just hang in there, because if you enjoy your teaching and you are authentic and you doing what you love and it comes across like that, you will build up a following and you will have people that love your teaching and come to your classes. Okay, so that's just personal stuff. We've done all the history, we've done all the other stuff. So that's just some personal information from me to you. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? No? Okay, good. All right, then I'm going to end it there, guys. I just want to tell you to go and have fun. Enjoy the rest of your teacher training. I think I will see you, I think it's next week, and we'll do Hot 26, which is completely different if you haven't done it before. So we'll do the same thing. We'll go through the history, we'll practice a class, and then we'll just have a little bit of answering questions, and you can ask anything that you like again. Okay, yeah, pick my brain. If you think of this, if you think of something that you want to ask, I'm on the group. You're welcome to direct message me. I really don't mind, and I will reply. So if you think, oh, I should have asked that, just ask me. Okay. Right, guys, good luck, enjoy, and I will see you next week. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday. Namaste. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Pleasure, guys.
Thank
See you next
you.
week. Okay. Thanks.
Thanks.
Okay,
Bye.
pleasure. See you next week. Bye.